Hello and welcome back to another thrilling and riveting episode of SDS. We are here to discuss Premier League football, midweek action. As I'm sure you're all fully aware, we have a lot to get into today. North London derby.
Hey!
You're something tone in your voice, bro. You good?
Come on, Arsenal!
City dropping points. You know, got Newcastle. We've got West Ham to talk about today as well. But, of course, as usual, action-packed week, action-packed table. It's only right I introduce my esteemed panel. Sitting next to me, back in his vice-captain's chair. Wristwatch showing.
Oh.
Ready for business. Mr. Lias Bouzidi's in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Sitting across from him, wearing another La Liga shirt.
Sí.
Mr. Valencia's very own,
Sí.
Mr. Abs Busquets.
Okay. Hola,
And of
hermanos.
course, we have Italy's most handsome model,
Why not?
Ilias Noriega, is here as well.
Italy's got some good-looking people,
Come on, man.
They
Listen,
got Calafiori.
lads, we're here to discuss the football, of course. Of course, we appreciate you guys being here as well, joining us. Get involved in the comments as well. Like the video if you can. Subscribe if you haven't. If you're listening to this on audio, give us a 5-star rating. We'd very much appreciate it.
You got
Where
your
do we
nice,
start?
sexy voice today. Why is that? Is it because we're going to start with Arsenal Spurs?
I mean, I'm the host, so
Just
technically
asking.
I decide where we start.
Yeah.
And today we're going to start with Manchester United.
Nah.
No, they haven't played today, unfortunately.
I
We
met
will
the
be
criteria.
starting-
This wasn't selected. Man United don't make SDS Roundups anymore, man.
That's
This is
crazy,
shambolic, bro. This is crazy.
Hey, man, the game is wicked.
This is humbling.
The game is wicked.
That might be the darkest indictment of what United
real.
have.
Forget
United
not
making
is
Champions League. We don't have SDS Roundup. It's not even on the roundups anymore.
15th in the table right now.
We're getting Leicester treatment.
We only talk about the top half round here.
Yeah.
Why are you talking about you guys then?
Well, listen, Arsenal. So, listen,
By
North,
default.
On a technicality.
North London derby, of course, is where we are going to begin. Ilias, you were in the stadium. Abs, I'm sure you were watching it at home. Lias at home. I was here doing a watch along with the boys as well. 2-1 at the Emirates. And as much as a Tottenham fan, I would love to sit here and pretend to be surprised, sit here angry, ripping my hair out, ripping my jumper. I wasn't surprised. But I want to get your perspective first. Before I go off on a long 10-minute tangent and not let anybody speak, give me your perspective from the stadium, because you was at the game. I'm sure there was a lot you enjoyed, a lot you maybe didn't enjoy, but talk me through it. What did you see?
First, I want to start with a round of applause for Arteta.
Oh,
He coached a brilliant
you
game.
don't do that, by the way.
He coached a brilliant game. Today is Arsenal. When it's a derby day, derby day, Arteta
Taking your responsibility from your
Oh.
That's crazy.
Arteta deserves a round of applause after yesterday's performance. He coached another. He coached another 4-5-0 game.
Yeah.
We conceded extremely low XG chance. We held you guys out like we have done many times with many other teams this season.
Yeah.
But of course, we conceded a deflected. I think it was a double deflection goal to Son. Even though you guys didn't deserve that, I feel like the way the game was going, something like that was going to happen with the amount of chances we squandered throughout that first 40 minutes, first 30 minutes. But other than that, I think it was a typical North London derby in like the most recent times. A set piece goal, a physical battle where Arsenal come out on top. No, obviously Harry Kane doesn't play for you guys anymore, but I feel like that's the biggest miss in these games. You don't have that goal score. Yeah, the inevitability to shoot from 40 yards out, 30 yards out and create something. Obviously, you've got Son who's lost his legs, who's not going to create how he used to create. But other than that, it was a good game to watch. There was a few standout players. Obviously, Miles Lewis-Skelly was the man of the match.
Bravo.
You can just get this one out the way.
Yeah. Let's get out of it. Miles Lewis-Skelly.
Skelly for me gets the round of applause.
I was watching yesterday in awe, brother.
He was amazing.
That it was a grown man performance. Like we can start with him because honestly, like at that age, coming up against Kulusevski as well, I felt like this was a game where we showed you lot too much respect. Especially coming into it, you're seeing Arsenal, Carabao Cup they've lost, FA Cup they've just been knocked out. This is an opportunity to possibly deflate their entire season.
I was worried about that.
Could be
big
the
time.
knockout blow.
Yeah.
They got Emery on the weekend. This could be hell week.
Yeah.
We could start it. So I was thinking, yo, let's at least show some gusto in our performance today. And exactly what you said, bro. Like the North London derby, I feel like it's one of the most exciting games, but it's not competitive. That's my frustration with it all the time. It's almost a given Arsenal are going to win. And now it's become a given where it's home or away.
It's not even a contest.
It's not even a
Yeah.
Like
contest.
you say, hold on. You say like it's. I'm growing accustomed to it, but this is for me only the last 2 years. Like I'm not saying Spurs are always going to win. In fact, you got one time at the Emirates in the last like 15 years. It was with Kabul, right? But it's not even just like the fact that you're not winning games. There isn't even like the feel that it's a derby anymore, honestly. And I felt that I said the exact same thing the first game that you guys played when you guys won 3-0 at Spurs' stadium.
No, 1-0.
Was it 1-0?
1-0, the header, Gabriel header.
You're right.
Beginning of
It
the season,
felt like it was 3-0.
Yeah.
I'm thinking last year I think you guys went there and won 3-0. But that's the thing, like it doesn't even feel like it's one of the most historic, biggest derbies that we look forward to at the start of every season. I remember at one point you looked at these two teams and they play entertaining games. You can tell that both sides really hate each other. I feel like even like the edge of the game is kind of gone, honestly.
And that was the biggest factor missing yesterday for me from our game. Like outside of the Son shot and Jed Spence playing a little outside of the ball pass that Gabriel intercepted.
Gabriel, great defender, yeah.
We
There's
had
nothing there.
nothing. We didn't lay a glove on him.
Poro tried the
And
little
I'm thinking,
fluke thing at the end.
And I'm thinking this is Arsenal who've turned up here basically with Trossard, Havertz and Sterling as their front line. Okay, we've got a rotated back line, but at least take the game to them. At least show something. And instead we turned up, didn't lay a glove on you, let you have all the possession. Because my thing is, if you're going to play counter-attacking today and you're going to let Arsenal have the possession, at least be smart enough to not be playing tippy-tappy football out of the back. The amount of times we lost the ball with Dragusin, with Bissouma.
Kinski as well.
Kinski.
There was 2 times where he could have scored.
You know what it is, Fouad?
He was nervous.
But it's just
Fouad,
no gifted opportunities.
And that's for me naivety.
You have 6'5" Solanke, who we brag about his hold-up play. We brag about his link-up play. How many times are you playing the ball long to him? You've got Kulusevski and Son, who are supposed to be runners in the channel. How many times are you actually putting the ball into the channels? It's always surgical passing out of the back, and it's predictable.
It's naive because you're playing against an Arsenal team that were pressing so high. You were there. They were literally on the edge of your box. That's the reason why you couldn't even keep it. But in those situations, okay, they're committing numbers. That means that there's space in behind. Play over the press. Don't try and play through the press.
It makes no
like
sense.
you said, Solanke can hold the ball, even though I thought that Gabriel and Saliba dealt with him like nothing. Every single ball that came into him, every single ball into the box, they ate that up. But it's naive from Spurs, it's naive from Ange to continue trying to play away that Arsenal have clearly shown you're not getting through us today.
Nope.
Play over them.
Absolutely. And the thing is, just quickly, and then in the second half, we see the changes of, you know what, Bissouma and Sarr come on.
I think that was crazy.
We're going to full-on
3-10s. It was 3-10s in midfield.
3 creative midfielders. You've got Bergvall as a sitter. And I'm thinking, hold on, what? Because Bergvall loves to pick up the ball, and fair play to him. I thought he actually had a decent game. Him and Archie Gray are probably the only ones I can look at and say, you can hold your heads up.
The 3 18-year-olds had the best. Well, Skelly as well. The 3 18-year-olds, Skelly, Archie Gray and Bergvall, they were probably the 3 better players on the pitch.
Bro, what is this plan for this second half? Because at the moment, we're not controlling the game. We haven't got more possession. We haven't created more chances. So essentially, you've just brought on 3 midfielders to vibe and to look like, hey, I'm trying to go for the game. I'm attacking.
There's no tactics. That's what you do in FIFA when you're chasing a game. You bring on attackers.
Yeah.
But you already had such little control in the first half. Then you're taking off your 2 central midfielders, and you can say Madison's not a central midfielder like them. He can occupy those deeper roles, but you're not starting him off in there. You're playing him next to Bergvall. No surprise. You guys had even less control in the second half. You saw what Arne Slot did the day before. We're going to talk about that, but how his substitutions changed the game. That was an attempt from Ange to change the game, and it did anything but that.
Nothing.
You guys looked even worse after those changes.
I think. Listen, I think this game was it's a bad look for Spurs just in general, not just because it's a derby. The way that you guys were just listen. If you're going to, like you were saying earlier, if you're going to let Arsenal play with the ball, that's not a problem. When you have the ball, I've seen Spurs in previous seasons be able to play through the thirds, whether it's Bentancur sitting, whether it's Bissouma sitting. They have the character enough to come and receive the ball and find a pass forward. My main thing that was so frustrating about watching that game is that Spurs weren't even putting up a fight when they had the ball. Like, even if you're going to put the idea of go to Solanke, I think that would have been smart. There wasn't even any attempt to try and do that. What I saw so much that was frustrating me is Jed Spence getting trapped on that side there, and he has no ability, because obviously he's right-footed playing on that side. He's always cutting in. He, obviously, a better, maybe more technical player can find his street, but it's so tough for him being found in so many situations, playing at left-back, being trapped, and there's no way out. And Archie Gray is, listen, he's obviously so talented, and him, Bergvall, like you guys were mentioning, those only ones that really tried to show that they were trying to play for the badge, at least show some character a little bit. And that was really frustrating about Tottenham Hotspur. I did think that Ange, the substitution, I think he went a bit too far with it. What I suggested is, taking either one or Bissouma or
I
Sarr
think you take off Bissouma.
and then bring Kulusevski inside. At least that works. You can bring some creativity. At the same time, you don't lose
I would have
out
even took
when
Sarr
having
for
some.
half time.
Yeah,
Because I felt
that's
like
what I
he
would
was
have done.
ineffective, and I would have put maybe
Agreed.
Maddison
Sarr.
on the left.
Yeah,
and
no,
Son.
Son.
No, I would have
Son.
took Sarr or Bissouma. One of them.
One of them.
Sarr for
one
me
of
should have stayed on because at least
Legs.
He's got the
his
legs, yeah.
That goal that you guys scored, which is completely out of nothing, it comes from his running
Yeah.
power. It comes from his ability to carry the ball forward.
Yeah.
You take both of those two off. That's all you're stealing.
It's done. Yeah, it's
That's
done.
all your
Yeah,
legs.
it's done.
Talk to me about the first goal, because obviously, I mean, clear as day, you could see on the replay, it kind of came off Trossard.
Oh, our first goal. Yeah.
Oh, I thought
Yeah,
your
I
first.
feel like
that
it
for
was.
me was
It's
crazy.
just an awkward angle for the referee because you've got both players coming across each other. You've got players in front of the referee. You've seen them given. You've seen them not given. I feel like it was unlucky, but it was still a typical like set piece Arsenal goal. It's like you see Gabriel
And that's a
on the
fuck-
penalty spot, tussling
One-on-one
with
with Dragusin,
Dragusin.
yeah.
They're pulling each other. And
got
in
a
those
step on him.
situations, what I don't get is the defender defending the attacker is always facing the attacker. So he's always facing up. He's not watching the ball, but it's such an awkward.
Say that again. Sorry. Say that again.
So the defender
yeah, that's on Gabriel.
on Gabriel,
Yeah.
they're always facing Gabriel.
Yeah,
so it's such an awkward situation because if you're stood side on,
Gives him a step.
you can't see where the defender is,
Yeah.
you can't see where the attacker is, and if he's facing the attacker, he doesn't know where the ball is. So it's such an awkward position for them.
Yeah.
And then obviously Gabriel back post, headers it back across goal, Solanke on goal. But I feel like it was just a typical Arsenal
Do you
set
know the
piece,
worst
man.
part about
It's a
seeing
typical
about that
Arsenal
corner?
goal, by the way. When
Typical
Rice
Arsenal
is on, when Rice is on the
pitch,
pitch,
yeah,
because
yeah.
those corners the last few
Not the
weeks
same.
when Rice and Saka ain't there.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
the
yeah.
weird thing. We was watching the game and I was saying, like, you lot are having these set pieces and celebrating every single one, but they weren't coming off.
Yeah.
And then that one just so happened to get through.
I think
And
we
it
had.
was
I think we
Kinski
had
was cleaning most of the corners
yeah.
before that. He's
I
actually
think we
doing a
had.
decent
I think
job
we
of it
had
before
10
that.
corners in 5 minutes or 5
Bro, it
corners
was
in 10 minutes. It was
The
something
seventh one
crazy.
was a goal.
It was something crazy like that. Some crazy stat. But then it was a typical Arsenal set piece.
My annoyance about the corner not being or the goal kick not being given is that in real time I could quite clearly tell that it came off Trossard.
Yeah.
like the
It's
cross
the
came
angle.
back
Yeah,
off
yeah,
him.
yeah. But
And
I
understand
don't
about the
blame
angle,
the-
but
I don't blame the referee,
Simon
bro.
Hooper was right behind it. He was right behind
Yeah,
it.
And that was my
And-
frustration.
Yeah.
And the thing is VAR for me should be able to intervene in incidents like that.
No,
Because
that's where there's that fine
That's
line.
where they're saying now.
Well,
all
Ilias,
of a sudden-
it takes 3 seconds to see on replay if that's the thing. Because I'm
Bang,
saying
bang.
the question is right. Oh, if you make sure now you're analyzing every single corner, every
Yeah.
free kick, then it's like it's gonna add up and you're
Yeah.
gonna take too much away from the game. But I think when those instances lead to goals, you should be allowed to check.
100%.
I
And
think
I'm not
those
even saying it because
yeah.
it's an Arsenal thing. I think even if it was like I remember Arsenal a few years ago against maybe last year against Newcastle,
Yeah,
there was an incident.
The goal line,
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
line,
yeah.
and it was
Yeah,
inconclusive.
and-
Yeah.
and-
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
promise
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
if this
I was
happened the
gonna
other
say-
way around,
yeah.
there would have been letters to PGMO.
what
I
I'm
was gonna
saying,
say
bro.
in these situations is where you should have the challenge rule in football.
Yes. Good,
Where
good,
either
good.
3
Fully
challenges a
agree.
game or 1 challenge a half, where Porro can go to Ange or
And
go
say,
to
"This
the
is wrong,
captain
bro."
and say, I promise you I didn't touch the ball.
Yeah.
It came off Trossard last. He does this. Okay, cool. So goal kick. And then now you
Fully
prevent
agree.
the goal. I think those situations.
That's a good take. I like
but,
that. Yeah,
but what I was
fully
going to
agree.
say was with the game in general, what I really liked in the game, it goes back a little bit, is how we trapped Jed Spence and Archie Gray. Every time they got the ball, Raheem Sterling, Havertz, Odegaard, Timber just pushed them straight away. And you could see from the first 15 minutes when you lot was trying to play out the back in those triangles, didn't work at all.
Do you know
Because
what
it's-
it was for
yeah.
me? I always felt like it was when Dragusin got the ball at the back, you lot triggered it.
Yeah.
He is almost forced to go sideways or backwards
Back-
because
He don't want the ball.
Yeah, yeah.
He can't
He
pass
don't
the
want the
ball.
ball.
And
He
he
don't
don't
want
want
the
the
ball.
ball. And then what
Yeah.
happens is they get caught in like these
Yeah.
awkward angles and
Yeah.
awkward positions, and then it's 3-on-1.
Yeah.
Do you know what his biggest indication of him not wanting the ball? One time Kinski had the ball. Every right centre back in that situation, I'm opening my body
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
and making an angle for the keeper.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want
yeah.
it. Go
Facing
around
him
and
directly.
go around.
He's just
He does
just
the McTominay thing that used to
Hide behind the
Don't
attacker.
pass to me. I'm
But
in
as a
a
centre
position.
half.
Dragusin, I'm going to say it again.
Please.
He belongs in the 2000s at Sunderland next to Titus Bramble,
Yeah,
at Portsmouth next to Yunus Kabul,
Yeah. Even
at
Newcastle,
at
yeah.
Bolton next to
Remember-
Zat Knight.
Yeah.
He's that bro.
Yeah.
He is so unmade for the modern day game.
don't know.
The first 20 minutes when you guys were peppering them, he
Yeah.
actually looked pretty decent
Yeah.
because he's being especially backs to the wall,
Yeah, physical,
headers
yeah.
off the line.
Yeah.
That's his game. He's in his
yeah,
element.
blocks.
The minute you have to defend in space, like when Trossard for the second goal is running at him, there's an ocean of space between the two of them. A top center back closes down that space.
Yeah, he's got no
He's
idea.
backing up, and then Trossard shoots. I'm like, yeah, no
man's
shit.
Bro,
He
it's
is so
ridiculous.
out of his depth. Honestly, whoever scouted Dragusin for Spurs
What
needs
was
to
his
be.
agent? Remember what his agent was saying? His
Yeah, he
agent
was trying to
saying
go
Spurs
Bayern.
is a stepping stone.
Yeah, he was like, we're trying to
For
go
who?
Bayern Munich.
You're going back to Romania, brother. That's a stepping stone.
I remember that. Yeah, and Bayern Munich. Remember, they tried to use Bayern Munich as the thing. I was like, yeah.
That agent has blood on his
Bayern
hands.
are looking at us. I'm sorry, we don't know this
that's an
man,
elite
bro.
agent. I love that agent.
No.
Yeah, what an agent.
Whoever,
Talking him up.
Yeah. whoever is responsible,
He
whether
should
it's
be
Johan
fired today.
Lang, whatever it is, there is serious blood on your hands because you see the way Ange plays, and that was the thing you signed mid-season to say.
Yeah, January.
This
Here
is
you
the
go,
backup.
Ange. Here you go,
Ange. I'm gonna give you some. Hell no, honestly, he has been someone he's been here 12 months now. The first 6 months, you thought maybe it's an adaptation, new league. Bro, he is just not ready.
He's built like a truck and he turns like a truck, bro. Of course he's not ready.
Do you remember that Liverpool defender, Krigios?
Oh,
Respect Krigios. He's better than this guy.
Wasn't he?
At least for Greece, he was decent.
Yeah.
Hey, Romania, he pulled out the Euros.
Give me Kyrgios, man.
Let's talk about the second goal.
Ferguson.
Trossard.
Yeah.
He went from in the stadium. I don't know what it was like on TV. That first 15 minutes Trossard had
Might be the
one of the worst.
Hall of Shame.
One of the worst performances I've ever seen. He
Hall of
couldn't
shame.
pass straight.
Yeah.
He couldn't beat his man.
And then
he dropped Porro.
that was a
Absolutely
turning point.
annihilated. Porro, I saw him. Everyone thought he died on the pitch. He was on the floor. The game stopped. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, what
You're
happened?"
trying to say he slipped or something.
Everyone saw him. I thought his groins split. I thought his groins broke. Everything. He was finished, bro.
Put the mic down.
He was finished, bro.
I thought I witnessed a murder.
Bro, he was
we
finished.
saw it lifetime.
Nah,
Hasib
watching it
lost
was
his mind.
As he should.
Stars
I
lost
wish you
his
heard the
mind.
stadium when it
I'm
happened.
there like,
I said, "Oh my god, is he dead?"
It was like street football.
what have I just witnessed?
You know
bro?
when it happened, you could hear everyone in the stadium.
Yeah.
"Whoa!" You could hear that, and then 5 minutes later, he does the nutmeg.
You had Shaib in
Yeah.
the corner. Was like, yo, I was like 4 seats away from it. He thought he witnessed.
Yeah, Shaib was there. He was in the corner. He was in that corner of the pitch.
You know, letting Trossard do that to you too is crazy.
And then-
bro.
and
It's
then
not
on
even
top of
like.
that, I
Did
think-
you see the
It's not even a
confidence
man,
he started
one-on-one
playing
winger.
with? No,
Yeah.
but the 15 minutes you're talking. Did you see the 15 minutes after that?
That's
how
what I was
he
gonna say.
playing?
Yeah.
The touches.
No, but do you know what happened was I think the
Confidence.
Porro.
I said, what is going on?
Porro,
A drug.
when he beat
One
Porro,
skill can
yeah.
change your life. bro.
when he beat Porro, he was like, "Yeah, I'm the guy." He went for a nutmeg straight after he got the nutmeg off. Then the shot, he took the shot. Yeah, he took the shot so early. I was like, "Why are you shooting?"
Yeah,
He
now
was
he's
like,
in his
"Vinny,
bag,
no
bro.
shoot."
He's in his
Right
bag.
now,
He's just
no shoot, no shoot,
no,
and he just flew into the corner.
But
and
Trossard's a shooter. Trossard's a
I
shooter.
know, and it
bro.
was one of those shots which I like. Yeah, it bounces just before it gets to the keeper, so
Yeah.
it's always going to bounce over the
Difficult.
keeper's arm.
Should do
It's
better.
difficult.
Should do
Keeper
better.
should do better, but I understand when they go
For
in.
me, the most criminal part within all of that is once again Yves Bissouma getting
Yeah.
caught on the ball.
Yeah.
What should have been
Napping.
a
Yeah, Thomas
simple
Partey linked
1-2
it.
where you
Yeah.
said there, Jed Spence getting trapped.
Yeah.
What should have been a simple 1-2 pop?
Get out
Why
of there.
are you turning inwards when there's 3 players
Yeah.
around you? It makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
And this guy, I'm sorry, he's been in now 3 years. When he was at Brighton, he was being touted as potentially
Yeah.
one of the best defensive midfielders if he moves to a bigger club. He's come here. The first year, nobody even remembers it.
Yeah.
The second year, he adapted and people were like, oh, first 10 games, he's cold. Got sent off against Luton. We never saw that version again. This season, he has been the most inconsistent. He's been our worst player, hands down. If we sold him this January, I would not miss him.
Yeah.
Honestly, that guy is the fraudulence levels that he has tricked people under.
You keep saying people.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Your people. He's people. He was
bro.
gassing up
No.
Bissouma like crazy. Yes, bro. Well, you weren't a huge fan of Bissouma when you signed him.
I love Bissouma, but I always said there was inconsistencies in the game.
But you're
not
saying he's
sit
the
here and
worst
act
player.
do not sit here and act like I've raved Bissouma like that, please, bro. I would love
But you
to
keep saying he
be
tricked
reminded
people.
of what
He
Cole
did
said.
this. You're the people, bro.
No, bro.
Bissouma
I'm
was
talking.
your guy.
Hold
There
on.
was at
Was
one
there
point
not
you
a
were.
general consensus that Bissouma could potentially be one of the best DMs?
He was good.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was
right,
good.
United
right.
fans not want him at one point.
I wanted him at Arsenal.
want him
United
at
fans, we
one
want
point.
everyone,
So
bro.
there
Bissouma
you
was
go.
good.
That's the general consensus I'm talking about. What are you talking about? Me? That
was your guy, bro.
Attach my name to this
Oh,
bomb.
hold on.
please.
There's a clip of you out there saying that him and Declan Rice, you could have conversations in terms of he can do everything Rice is
Wallahi,
doing.
Liaz, right now,
What did you say in that
pausing
clip?
this podcast and I challenge
What
you
did you
to
say?
find
What did you say in that clip?
I am pausing this
Hold on.
podcast right now.
Hold on.
It's receipts time.
Feel free to edit this whatever free time
Hold on.
to the next
Hold on.
one.
Make it.
Find this video
Hold on.
because, brother, I would love to see this clip.
Whoa.
Because I know exactly what he's going to reference, and
Yeah.
I've always held Rice over Bissouma. There was one time in a North London derby discussion with AFTV preview where I said, yo, Bissouma in the first phase, in terms of build-up,
Yeah.
he's better than Rice in that department.
Of course, yeah, of course.
And that was when this first 10-game period where last season.
Oh, we've got some. We've got some.
Wait, wait.
We have to hear the evidence. Let's hear the
So I
evidence.
said this is the first 10 games last
Yeah,
season
in
for the
the
North
first
London
phase.
derby
Yeah, yeah.
where I'm saying he was good.
When Spurs were
That's
fighting.
when I was saying, yo, maybe. but I've always rated Rice above him. Now,
Okay, thank
please
you. Play the
I
clip.
just wanted to hear. Hold on.
Please play the clip.
I think the rest of the allegations are against Tapping Oluwatobes because he was talking about don't put Moses in, Basuma and Declan Rice.
Basuma Rice, and I was like, this is Basuma matters.
So this is that North London derby.
Hold on. What are you trying
I'm
to?
just saying, it's the North London
He's trying
derby.
to. He's trying to mess with interview evidence, bro.
Interview with the evidence. One sec.
Basuma matters and Odegaard. I agree with that.
Declan Rice.
Now here's the thing. I love Declan Rice. I love Declan Rice.
Start with love.
Let me say this. There is nothing Rice can do that Basuma cannot do. But there are things that Basuma can do that Rice cannot.
And what is that?
First phase.
You see the first phase?
Rice can break through pressure.
But then your whole complaint about Basuma is that he turned into pressure in the first phase.
Wait. What did
Your
I
Honor.
say? So wait.
Your Honor.
Wait. What did he say? He
hear the
said that
rebuttal.
I said Basuma's better than Rice. Where in that clip did I say Basuma's better than
didn't
Rice?
say that, but
You
then
said
you
they could do
also
the same
said
thing.
You said there's nothing that Declan Rice can
Yeah, I
do
disagree
that
with that.
Basuma
I disagree with
can't.
that. I disagree with that.
So his point was incorrect. Am I correct?
Yeah, based on
What
what
was
the
my
charge
point?
actually was.
What was my point?
very much.
Based on the
allegations.
allegations.
Very much.
What was my
Based on the
what was my
allegations.
point?
What
Before
was
you
the
said that,
allegations?
what was my point? No, you said my point was
that you said I said
He's tricky.
Basuma's
He's
better than
tricky.
Rice.
What was
He
my
said
point?
I said
What was my
Basuma was
point?
better than Rice. No, I did not say
no,
that.
He's
What
saying,
was
remember
my
when you
point?
said people
And then
are
I said
you
you
were
were
the
the people.
He's saying that
No,
you're
no,
a big
no.
fan of
And then-
Basuma, and then you use the example
But wait,
of Declan Rice and
but then
Basuma.
I specified the people by saying the general consensus in all the fan bases that wanted him, and
Yeah,
you
which
all
is
agreed.
which is fair.
then
I
I
was
was
just
what
defied the evidence. Now it's up to
I feel
you.
like this is an NFA case.
And how about
This is
this?
NFA.
Oh,
No
we-
further evidence.
We let the people decide.
Yeah, court of opinion.
we
It's a
let
court of
the
public
people
opinion.
decide.
That's
We let the
honestly
people
right.
decide. We let the people
Listen,
decide based on that.
we
That was-
can do
that was- But listen, just
But hold on,
before-
I have another
before-
court of opinion to bring forward as well too.
Oh,
we
damn.
tried you. All right, you can get off with a warning. You.
Oh, damn.
We're turning it to you, man. Don't think I was gonna. I was surprised you skipped over the Spurs goal and where the error kind of happened.
Yeah.
Your guy, number 5.
First of all,
Can we talk
careful
about?
when
Can
you
we
say
talk
your
about?
guy. Careful when you say your guy.
Saying
he's
it-
not my guy. But listen, he was poor in that. But I've been honest
You,
about
no,
his
poor,
limitations.
bro.
No,
That's
but
the
but-
goal
okay,
happens
cool.
because he can't run.
Let's make it okay. No problem. But then he also creates the goal when he sticks the ball off
which is fine,
Basuma as well.
which is fine. But that moment right there is why I continuously tell
No
you,
problem.
bro.
No problem.
You
But I
this
don't-
whole
I
time
don't
about
hide away from
Partey, no, but you continue talking about Partey as one of the best DMs in the league.
Yeah.
I think you said in your top
I think
3
he's-
DMs in world football when you
Yeah,
did that video.
yeah.
He can never be that, bro. When you are that immobile, and not even just that, not even that focused in terms of closing down the space, because you're saying, oh, his athletic problems you can mitigate.
Yeah,
There's
you can.
2 ways you can mitigate, in my opinion, lack of athleticism in midfield. Like Jorginho, for example. Busquets is not the most athletic DM I've ever seen. You either surround him with runners, right? Or you're smart enough positionally so that you kind of close the distance you have to carry, you have to
he's-
cover
listen,
without even doing that.
I think his defensive game and position awareness, I still think is kind of underrated. And if I look at Arsenal,
Underrated?
I do. I honestly do.
It's awful.
Okay,
it's
but
awful.
like I say, I'm very honest about the weaknesses that Thomas Partey has in his game, and they're stark, and it's why Arsenal eventually need to. Not even eventually, they've signed him mainly for the sake of moving him on. I'm not saying. I'm just saying on the ball what he brings to Arsenal, and we saw it again in moments in that game.
You
as
saw in
well.
the second half, he got caught out like 3 times in the space of 30 seconds trying to play off from
In
the
games
back.
like that, in transition when it's with this massive amount of space around him, that is when he's weak, 100%. And that's why I'm assuming they're trying to play Declan Rice next to him for that same reason, to mitigate that, because Declan Rice had a good game. By the way, Declan Rice had a very good game.
I'm glad you said that.
Because he did. That's the reality of it. He was there, and in that area was just running around and doing what Declan Rice does. Covers ground, involved in challenges, and it worked well together. I don't doubt that. And Declan Rice has his uses, and they are very, very important in the modern game. What Partey brings on the ball, I think in Arsenal's midfield this season, I don't know if there's been a better performing midfielder for Arsenal this season than Thomas Partey.
We don't have anyone in our club can do what he
just
does.
don't- I don't-
100%.
At the level he does it at. But like I do agree, I said it yesterday as well. He's one of the worst in isolation.
Absolutely,
People like
he
to
is.
bring
It's
up.
not
People
an
like to bring up his dual stats of he wins the ball this much and that much. It's because
He won the ball for that goal.
No, but it's because teams know they can run at him with a chance of getting by him. Declan Rice, players don't run at him because they know most of the time Declan Rice can beat him.
Physically,
They're going to win it.
Do you know what Brentford
Partey, Jorginho, a lot of those kind of players who are bad in isolation, teams run at them. That's why their stats are so much higher.
But
than
Jorginho is also so intelligent in the way he positions
he'll
his
and he'll
body.
foul as well.
I
And
think
he'll
Partey
foul as
does
well.
that as
I don't
well,
agree.
So for
I don't
example,
think
when
so
it's sustaining
whatsoever.
pressure, when it's sustaining pressure, and as Arsenal fans can let me know, you can let me know this. When it's sustaining pressure and Arsenal are, and there's been a breakaway, Partey has the ability to smell that and put that fire out and keep the pressure up.
That moment against Sar is the opposite of what you're saying, bro.
Because that was more when it was already in transition. Like
No, it wasn't. Bro, he started at the halfway line. He started.
There was already space to run it.
No, but Partey didn't even, bro. Hold on, there's space to run into because Partey is so heavy.
Yeah,
that
agreed.
He had the advantage, bro. He's the one closing the space.
The scenario I was referring to is basically when Arsenal have that defense camped in a low block, and there is a ball that happens either side of maybe in front of the back line where it needs to be smelt, it needs to be defined, needs to be taken out. Partey is good at that. Jorginho is good at that as well. Like you mentioned, he has the intelligence.
I think that moment that they scored on is the moment you're describing, and he didn't do a good job of doing it whatsoever.
I don't think it's the exact same situation, but I completely agree with the weaknesses of.
I don't think it is. I genuinely don't think it's splitting hairs.
Before we move on to Arsenal,
Yeah.
Spurs have now lost more games than Ipswich in the league.
Lost 11 out of
Wow.
21 games, bro.
That's
11 out of 21.
11 out of 21. I think
That's relegation
so
form.
many of them by 1-goal margins as
Yeah.
well. And if you look at some of the losses, of course, there's
I think
context.
you've won
and
1
all
in
of
9
that.
as well.
Yeah,
I think
1 in 9. I think it was Southampton as
Yeah,
well. if I'm not
Southampton 5-0,
mistaken. So
yeah.
since I think mid-November, like the form in the league, throw this league season away. Honestly, like and just hanging on to his job through the cups.
Put it in the back.
Put the league season in the bag, bro.
Yeah.
He's literally hanging on to his job by the cups.
Yeah.
Obviously, we first leg against Liverpool.
Tamworth as well.
You got Anfield to come, brother.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Next round, FA Cup, you got Aston Villa away,
Put that in
brother.
the
And
bag
although
too.
we won 4-1 last year,
You're their bogey
it
team.
might not be the same.
Yeah,
It might not be the same again.
Yeah.
And the Europa League as well. We've got 2 games left in the group stage. We don't know how that's going to turn
Put
out.
all of it in the bag, bro. Put the second leg loss at Anfield in the bag. Put the game against Aston Villa in the bag.
Yeah.
Put the Europa League exit against Fenerbahce in the bag. Brother, your season is done. It's
Hey,
over.
Man. Hey, man.
It's
it is.
horrible, bro. It's
So bad.
yo, Ange is losing
Where'd
me,
you
man.
stand?
Ange is losing me bad, bro.
I don't like asking you every single time because I feel like we have this
feel
question.
like we've
We have
answered
this
this
question
every
every
single
single
time.
time.
Nothing's
Nothing's
changed.
changed.
I mean, for me, it's still the cups.
Still the same
We're
thing,
still
yeah.
in the cups.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
long
the
as
same
we're
thing.
in the cups,
Yeah,
that's
fair
what he's
enough.
hanging
Fair
his
enough.
jobs on.
But,
if you sack him now, it's the same thing with Jose.
Yeah,
You sacked him
the
before the
Ryan
final.
Mason thing, yeah.
What are you doing? Let him see out the job at least, because right now the league form. I'm sorry, no manager is coming in and saving this season, bro. What manager can you name me out there that's gonna come in and save the season?
I don't agree.
It ain't gonna happen.
I don't agree. I don't know about drastically.
No,
but
because people love
can
doing
get better
this.
results.
People
They
love
can-
doing
a
this.
manager
where
can
they
come in and
easily
get better
Can
results.
get results or whatever, and then what? Finish me ninth.
Yeah,
I
there's
don't
no-
give a
you're not-
shit
you're not
about
moving
that, bro.
forward, yeah.
But Fuad, let me ask you this.
You've had this guy. You've brought him in for a long-term project.
Yeah.
Can you
Stick
let
to
him
it.
see it out? Yeah. Secondly, the second season, what have you given him to back him? A bunch of 18-year-olds in the summer. Now,
Very
at the time,
true,
you
very
thought,
true.
okay, they're high potential youngsters.
Yeah.
Maybe in January we'll add on. What have we added on? We're halfway through January window now. So for me, it's a case of
He's not been backed.
He's another full guy
And has gone
for
through
this
for
board.
injury crisis
It's
as
gonna
well.
sack him, and it's like, oh, start over again. We're gonna need to, another 18 months for a new manager. I don't want to go through this
can I ask you this, Fuad,
merry-go-round.
though?
Dare I
Fuad,
say,
can I
I'm
ask you-
almost at the Liban stage of ride the storm of, brother.
Just ride the
It's
storm.
been
Ugly,
so
yeah.
ugly and
Feels
so many
ugly.
managers coming in and out. Just see this season out. If he goes out of the
Let me
cups,
fast forward.
sack
you-
him
let
or
me-
whatever,
let me-
move
let me
forward
fast
then.
forward you
But
to
hold
the
on,
summer,
why does
because I
that-
do this with Arsenal fans as well. We've got to fast forward to the summer.
Because I want to
Ange
move on
has-
to
yeah, I know.
Europe
Sorry,
as
we
well.
need to give them credit as well. But let's say Ange now goes into the end of the season, 10th place finish and no trophies. Where do you stand?
He has to go then.
Why?
Then
You're talking about long-term project.
But wait,
Let him-
but here's the thing. Not me personally. I'm
But
not
that's what
saying
we're
he
asking
has to
about
go.
you, Fuad.
So
This is
if
why
me
I'm asking you, I'm
personally,
asking you.
so if it's me
10th
personally,
place finish and
10th place finish,
and
no
no
trophies.
trophies.
It depends on the context of the exit of the trophies. But for me, I would still give him this summer and this January everything he wants. Because for me, at the moment, he's brought an attacking identity, which is what Spurs fan wanted so badly. You wanted an overhaul of the squad. A lot of youngsters have come in. Guess what happens with youngsters? You need to give them time to
Inconsistency, yeah,
develop.
they're gonna be
They're going to have inconsistencies. He's had a lot of injuries to big players. We're not going to act like these things didn't happen. And look, the results are not good enough. Where we are on the table is not good enough. But also, the cups are still there. If he now goes and delivers one of those cups, he matches up with all of these Spurs managers that we've been raving about for the past decades or whatever.
Yeah.
So my thing is let
Do you
him
think
at
so?
least.
Do you believe if he wins the Carabao Cup this year, his time at Spurs is as successful as Harry Redknapp's or as Pochettino's?
Of course, not to the same extent. Of course, there's going to be things where they finish Champions Leagues or not. But he's delivered a cup.
trophy.
He's
It's true.
delivered a
No,
cup.
I get that. I get
And that's
that,
the
but-
thing Spurs fans have been wanting for so long. For me, my thing is this has always been a long-term project. If you believe in this manager and you believed in him a year ago, please believe him in the windows as well and back him. Because right now, I'm not seeing that.
I can
didn't
hear
see
that,
that in the
Fuad,
summer.
but-
I didn't see that in January right now. And in the summer, I hope we do.
But I can hear that long-term project, but for me, that's canceled out then by talking about cups. Like, I hear Spurs need a cup. That is unquestionable. But also, a Carabao Cup isn't changing anyone's life. You guys are going to celebrate for a day, but it's not going to hide the fact that you have 11 losses in January. So, long-term project, I almost would say forget about the cups. How can you do in terms of league progression? And the fact is, over the last 12 months, you're probably what?
Regressed.
No,
In the calendar year. I wonder what the calendar year
How many games
is.
have they won in the last?
The calendar year has been horrible. Yeah.
But that doesn't, for me,
check the
scream
calendar, yeah.
long-term progress. If you're talking about, if he wins the cup, then we have to give him everything.
Is there?
That's almost prioritizing short-term.
Let me ask you this: is there context within that calendar season? As to
1,000.
why?
I will always give Antoine Postecoglou that. I've said that so many times. But also, I do feel like his fingerprints are on a lot of their failures as well too. Not all of it.
I
but-
fully agree. He's not blame free for sure. There is definitely many
Guys are
games
not-
where we've lost
Ninth in the
tactically
calendar
because
table.
he's.
Do I think he could be coaching this group of better?
100%.
1,000%.
100%.
1,000%.
But for me as well, I'm willing to let him figure it out. But we have to give him better tools in order to.
I do agree with you. You haven't given him what he needs. You got rid of, obviously you replaced Kane with Solanke, but the 18-year-old stuff is like, it's unfair on him.
100%.
It's very unfair.
And his wingers who are supposed to hold the width for him
And a lot of-
constantly
yeah.
is Son, Werner, Brennan Johnson.
Yeah,
maybe
That is a
Kulusevski out
little
there.
bit
Yeah, he
where
bought
I kind of
Brennan
put that
Johnson.
on him
He
because he
brought
bought Brennan
Werner
for
back.
45 minutes.
And he wanted Werner.
extended
Yeah.
Werner's loan. So that's where I'm kind of a little bit like,
It's
you're
not-
not blaming
the last
him.
365 days as well too. It's not like Romero and Van de Ven weren't there either. It's not like they were a great defensive team. Now it's even worse. Right?
Yeah,
I
of
get
course.
that, but they were a bad defensive
They
team
were
with
still
those guys
poor
there
defensively
too.
when they were there.
Yeah.
Listen,
move
we
on
got
to
we got
I think that was the longest Arsenal segment ever, even though it was
We haven't
more
even spoken
Tottenham.
about
I
Arsenal.
mean,
Yeah,
no,
we
I
barely
was
spoke
just
about
gonna
Arsenal, yeah.
just to wrap up on that quickly. I was gonna say, obviously, 4-point gap now. Liverpool obviously still got a game in hand. With that attacking display, do you feel like you will miss if you don't sign an attacker in this
Big time
window?
Man. You saw it yesterday
Because
as well.
you're closing the gap, and I
You
felt
saw it
like
yesterday. I feel like yesterday
Shy
is
Havertz.
another game. Yeah.
he's
A lot
shy.
of people were saying yesterday before the game, Havertz has had back-to-back games where he's played bad. This third game is where he's going to really turn it up because you know what he's like. He's a physical monster when it comes to these kind of games.
Just twice, he's the third one. Is that what
Yeah, that's what they were saying. I said before the game, the third game, he was going to be terrible. And he showed it again yesterday. He was off the mark again as usual when it comes to his touches, his passes, and his final action. And I feel like yesterday was another game where when we brought on Tierney as our left winger, the board, I know the Cronkies were there because it was a North London derby. They should see with their own eyes, if we're bringing on Tierney as our left winger and we had Raheem Sterling as our
You
starter.
reckon that was the message?
I do think that was a message from Arteta bringing on Tierney as a left wing because we could have brought on Marino or someone like that, even though they're not going to play on the wing just to shore up the midfield. He brought on
Sterling obviously
Tierney,
has not had a
a
lot of
guy
minutes,
who
yeah.
yesterday was linked to Celtic and who potentially played his last game for the club, played as our left wing yesterday. I feel like that was a message, clear message to the board saying we need reinforcements this January.
I think Odegaard was brilliant.
Odegaard had an amazing game,
he was,
but Odegaard in those games when it's such an open
When
game
it's-
and the
and he
lines
loved
and the
playing against
gaps,
Spurs.
the gaps
He
are
loved playing
so
against
big
Spurs.
between the defense and the midfield for Tottenham. That's why Thomas Partey had a good game yesterday as well. And so
Gabriel,
Declan Rice, Gabriel, those kind of players, they thrive in games like that against teams.
Miles
where
Lewis
the-
Skelly
big
again.
gaps.
Come on, guys.
But I was gonna say it earlier. It reminds me of Rashford, Kobe Mainoo. When you play these derbies and the local lads play, they always turn
understand
up.
it better
They
than anyone
understand
else.
it, but he's from Islam.
See the way
he
he
knows.
did you see the way when he came off?
After
He's
he's
buzzing up.
loving it.
He's
The
loving it.
interview
He's
with
loving
Ian
it.
Wright
I was
after
gonna say the
saying,
interview,
I'm not
that
scared
was
of no
that.
one.
I loved it.
Like even yesterday, I was a
He
bit
knew
worried.
that was gonna
And hold
happen.
on, we're
Yeah,
talking.
yeah,
we
he
talk
knew,
about
he knew.
18-year-olds playing out of position. By the way, he's playing
playing
out of
left back,
position. By
yeah.
the way, and he's literally looks
And
so
I
at home in
tweeted
that
yesterday. I hope when everyone's back fit, he gets his reward by playing in his preferred position. I don't want it to be an Ainsley Maitland-Niles situation where Ainsley was playing so good at right back for us. When he got rewarded to play centre midfield, he played bad and got shifted back to right back.
Do you move him the way he's
But here's
playing
the
right
thing.
now?
I don't move him.
Players
I don't
like
move him,
him
but-
and Lewis
yeah.
Hall, though.
Yeah.
Former midfielders who've now been almost converted to left backs.
I think he should
they've got the
Ravel in there.
technical
But Lewis Hall
competence
has
to play there,
yeah.
and they're showing they've got the physical grit as well. And I look at the England position at left back. I'm
Yeah.
like, there's
Hello.
not
But
a
for
ton
me,
of
Lewis-
options.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, could you make yourself a career there? I'm looking at it. It's not like
long term.
Maybe I'm in my old head. Zambrotta
Yeah,
was
changing.
a right winger for
Yeah, yeah.
years. Became one of the best fullbacks in history.
Yeah.
And I was like, hold on. Sometimes it's there for you.
Half your
but
career
some
can be-
man,
Yeah.
when you get too prideful about it, you
Yeah.
end up at Lyon with Maitland-Niles. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, you
I
could
think
really own
personally-
this position. Calafiori, make him a myth.
When you're investing this much too in the likes of Rice, Marino, Zubimendi, Odegaard, it's tough to
Yeah.
break into that
Packed in
midfield
there.
as well.
I just think it's going to be unfair when we have Ben White, Calafiori, Timber back that he won't make the starting 11, no matter how good he's playing.
Calafiori needs to worry about getting fit.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say.
but then
He needs to
if
worry about-
Calafiori's not fit, you still got Timber who's going to start at left back over Lewis Kelly.
I
Do
don't
you get what I mean?
know.
I feel like I know what you mean,
Yeah.
but you know how football goes, man. With these youngsters as well, you can easily just shift them to the side and say, wait your turn.
Let me read out a couple quick
Yeah.
stats from the game. Tottenham have lost 11 games in their Premier League season, the joint most at this stage of a single campaign in the competition. We also lost 11 in 97-98, 0304 and 08.
I was 97, 98. What was that like?
Hey man, you had to be.
Was Gino there
You had
yet,
to
or
be
he
there.
was there? He was a
You were
little
still swimming
future.
around in your nutsack, but hey. Arsenal have done the Premier League. Arsenal have done the Premier League double over Tottenham for a 5th time, twice under Mikel Arteta and 3 times under Arsene Wenger. Arsenal have won 3 consecutive league games against Tottenham for the first time ever in the Premier League.
Nice.
Leandro Trossard had twice as many touches in the opposition box than the entire Tottenham side combined in the first half. And Arsenal have scored more goals, 2, than they had shots on target in the first half.
Can I give you
1.
another fun fact as well too? Gabriel has won man of the match in this fixture for the last 3 games running.
Yeah.
Don't-
Yo, I do the
do
round of
that.
applause here. Allow it.
the streets,
Back to the ones and twos,
the
man.
ones and twos, bro. Yeah,
the streets know who won man of the match yesterday, man. Shout
Less than that, bro. Yeah. Anyway,
out
This is my role, though, man.
One last shout out for Lewis Skelly as well.
nah, for real, big him up,
Shout out to
honestly, real men.
And what a surname as well.
It's a nice name.
Skelly, that's an elite surname.
Skelly.
Yeah.
Moving on, we got Nottingham Forest versus Liverpool.
Top of the table clash.
1-1, top of the table clash.
Who would have thought?
First versus second. Boy, Forest have now taken 4 points from Liverpool. City Ground was a rocking atmosphere. What did you make of the game?
I think this is something we're going to talk about Newcastle a bit later. There's a base level. I don't want to make this about Man United. Sorry, guys. But Ruben Amorim speaks about how his team has to have a level of commitment to 3 points, running, just basic things that a Premier League football team should have.
Mm-hmm.
The team that screams that more than most is Nottingham Forest. Their desire and commitment to 3 points is incredible. They hardly give opposition a chance on goal. In that second half, obviously, in the first half they were weathering the storm, got the early goal, really, really important for them.
Yeah.
The crowd got up. It was a fantastic moment. It was a mad pop. Then the second half came where, obviously, we're going to talk about Arne Slot and his changes and how brilliant they are. They had to weather the storm. Did they? Do you know what I mean? Like, they really weathered that storm. Matt Sell was unreal. Ola Aina blocking on the line.
Yeah.
Murillo, a crazy.
You see Murillo and
Using-
Milinkovic.
using-
And
Yeah.
that partnership
that's
is
a good tandem as well.
ridiculous.
They played the game the
Even
right
a shout
way.
out to Nico Williams because he had a job with
game
Mohamed
right.
Salah, who's the most informed player in the world right
He's
now.
made that left back position his own.
And he has.
Yeah.
And obviously, we're going to talk about Salah and how he didn't really impact the game as much as you probably expect from him during the season, how the way he's performing. But they had to deal with so much coming from Liverpool. They had Jota coming off the bench. They had so many different attacking angles that they were being attacked at. But they were resolute. They were strong in their defensive setup.
I think
and
that,
that is shout out to Nuno.
3 that you
Nuno as
mentioned
well.
there, I think, are the pillars of it. Sells, Murillo, and Milinkovic. The
I think their
standard
spine
that
is
they
beautiful.
set, yeah.
Yeah.
Even with Rick
Morgan
Yates
Gibbs-White,
in the middle, Morgan
Yates,
Gibbs-White,
and then
and
Chris
then
Wood.
Wood.
Yeah.
Like the goal for the first one, I thought,
Oh, beautiful.
it sums up the kind of, you know, when you're in form, how everything just goes your way.
Yeah.
Ball falls to Elanga, left weaker foot,
Weighted
first
pass.
time pass,
Delicious.
Chris Wood, first time weaker foot finish.
He didn't even need
I'm
to
like,
break his stride.
No, I love the fact though,
just
like
so
you're saying, it was
perfect.
all 2 touch,
Yeah.
1 pass, look up, go. It's just
I saw-
direct.
I saw
Even
guys complaining
yeah.
in the GC about guys' body angles, and I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, that happened in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Bro, that's what I'm saying.
You
yeah.
can't do anything.
Faisal was saying
Faisal
Van Dijk
said-
should have been able to change.
Yeah.
I was like, do you see how fast
I
that?
said it was harsh. I
Who
said
can
it was harsh.
react? Who can react
Yeah.
that fast?
I said it was
For
harsh.
context for the crowd, basically, Faisal was complaining
tweeted it,
about.
he tweeted it
He
as
tweeted it as well,
Yeah.
but complaining about
Van
Virgil
Dijk's
van Dijk's
positioning.
body positioning.
Yeah.
When in that situation, Kanate is nowhere
Yeah.
to be seen.
Bro.
It's just
Konate's
trying to
one that
manage
lost
And you
the
have to worry about the ball. He's facing the ball. Like his
Yeah.
body is shaped up to the
Yeah.
play.
But
Yeah.
regardless, the pass
Really
was
well
perfect.
taken goal. Really
I
well
love
taken
I
goal.
love those kind of goals where the striker doesn't break stride. It's just in his stride, left foot across the goal. Keeper has nothing to
pass
do. It was a
appreciation.
pass. It was a good
Chris,
finish.
Chris
as well.
Wood at the moment, you don't think he's gonna miss when he's
Yeah,
on goal.
yeah,
man.
he's up to
in
no
that-
good, bro.
He's
actually
actually
he's
no
up
good.
to
He's
no
not,
good
for
this
real,
whole
for
season,
real. What
bro.
started as a joke, he is actually up to no good.
And I think what you said there is perfect.
He's hitting
I
that
think
Premier League 100 club soon, man.
teams like Forest, Newcastle, Bournemouth, Fulham,
Yeah.
those 4 teams in particular, I always feel like they don't cheat their fans for effort as well.
Yeah, they
in
don't.
terms
No,
of
bro.
They don't.
every tackle, every duel,
They are.
it's full blood and thunder in everything.
Chris
And
Wood on 82
You know, it was
goals,
a really
man.
good marker at that. The time when Murillo won a tackle, won another tackle.
Yeah.
And then I think he tried to.
If he took a shot, no?
He took a shot.
Took a shot from
He's-
like 80
he's-
yards.
He's a little psycho, and I love
it's
that
that South
because
American
yeah, no,
He's got that dog in him.
We can
Yeah.
respect the Van Dijks of the world,
Yeah.
the PKs, the cool customers,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But I will always have an appreciation for the psychopaths, man. Honestly, like the guys who have a
the
screw
Marcus
loose,
Rose
bro.
of the world, yeah.
But you know what it is,
You
like,
always-
and I think it was they were saying it on commentary as well too. You can tell Murillo and Milinkovic have full license from Nuno to just clear it when they have
Absolutely.
to. And I love that because I've seen so many times over the last 3 years, Brighton, Southampton, Sheffield United. Every single time the ball's at the back, they have to play it out the back like they're 2011 Barcelona. And I've seen them shoot themselves in the foot so many times. About damn time we have a side that they get the ball, they see pressure in front of them, just go long. It doesn't matter if it goes in the stands. It doesn't matter. Honestly, bro.
Play to your strengths.
Yeah.
Those guys are middleweight MMA fighters masquerading as footballers.
Yeah.
We gonna play to our strengths.
Bro, for real.
Stop this. I'm built like this, and I'm gonna try and do a little.
Yeah, no.
That's what they want Dragusin doing at Spurs. That's where Dragusin belongs, bro.
Dragusin wants to be in them walls there.
Facts.
Put him in them walls, brother.
But let's talk about slots. Tactical change. What did you guys think of it?
Masterclass.
Yeah.
It's a masterclass. It's again,
typical-
Arne
typical
Slot
slot.
has done it so many times this year. He's incredible at looking at a game over a 90-minute and looking at the game state and saying, how can I change it? And that's management right there, because Faisal, and I know right now he's being proven right because Ancelotti's having a horrid time at Madrid, but he'll always talk about Ancelotti's 11 or the setup or what he does in training during the week, which is all fine. That's all part of management. But also, how can you change the game over 90 minutes? In my opinion, that's what makes Ancelotti so elite. He's incredible at identifying a game state and changing it. The way Arne Slot is doing it this year is at such a high level. And the fact that he brings on, for the second time this year, by the way, because against Fulham when they were down to 10 men, he also took off his center back, brings Gravenberch at DM, and it changed the game. Does it again too. Takes Konate off, who's since his injury has looked a little shaky. Brings Gravenberch on, brings on a striker, brings on a left back because Robertson is again still struggling. And within 10 seconds, Simicast cross, Jota
First
header.
touch for both.
That's coaching. That's management right there. That's coaching.
It doesn't, like, obviously, it is coaching, but it doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, literally on their first touches. And they link up for the goal.
And you're the one that's scoring.
It's just how he drew it, bro.
And listen, a coach is only as good as this, obviously the tools that he has. Gravenberch being able to do that in the last, and we've seen it before. It's ridiculous for him to, because he can change the whole makeup of the team.
Yeah.
Now he's dropped into there. They have more attacking players that can. Jota could have got a hat trick, by the way, if Sales didn't want to stop him half the time. Sales had another save for Gakpo. There was so many. By the end of that game, Liverpool obviously they've lost to Nottingham Forest in the first fixture at Anfield. They're looking at this game and they're saying they're so tough to beat that we actually might take a draw here.
Yeah.
Like, I understand
Away
in
from
that
home as
second
well.
half they've created so many really class opportunities, but you know how resolute Nottingham Forest have been for this whole season. You probably take that point. You go.
And I think, again, to Arne Slot's credit as well, the front three in that game were all off.
Yeah.
Gakpo, I think every pass that was played to him by Robertson was either out for a throw-in or behind him. Diaz couldn't make anything stick. Salah, I feel like he's been off the boil the past 3 games as well, since the 2 cup games as well.
First touch was going all over the gap.
Oh,
Yeah.
my days. It was bad. So then Jota, I think everybody was crying out for it. And then literally, as you said,
Should
he
Jota
changed
start the
game.
next game?
He will start. I think they're easing him back. I think they're easing him back.
I think they're seeing how clinical he is.
Yeah.
Pretty much every time he plays, he's guaranteed a goal. The issue is those front three, I feel like they've been Liverpool's best front three this
Yeah.
season. So how do you kind of switch it up? Do you
I'd
drop
probably
Diaz?
believe-
Do you
I think you just drop Diaz straight,
I'd drop
because
Diaz.
Diaz is like for like change.
Yeah.
Because now if you take out Gakpo, you got to shift Diaz to the left, which maybe
And
works
he's-
out
and
better
he's
for
gone really
balance.
cold on
And
the
he's gone
left-hand
very
side.
cold. I think Gakpo's been in decent form recently. I feel like you're better off having
Play the
Jota
hot
as the
hand.
9.
Does
Yeah.
this type of game show you though how serious Forest potentially could be for this Champions League spot? Because I know every
1000%.
season,
Yeah.
a couple of seasons ago, you had Leicester failed away, West Ham failed away, but past 2 seasons we've had Newcastle, we've had Aston Villa break through. Are they now the next in line? Because even you look at their recruitment, it's been Chelsea style for the past 2 years, where they recruit a lot of good talent, and now it's almost like it's.
There was one summer they signed
there's a
like
coach
30
there.
players.
Yeah, half of them
And now
started
they've
there.
got the right
Yeah.
coach, they've got the right players. They play in the right way. They can be adjustable. They can play football when needed, and then they can take you to a slugger
Because remember
fest
there was
if
that moment of
needed.
the triangles between Callum Hudson-Odoi, Morgan Gibbs-White, and Elliot Anderson.
Yeah.
And those are 3 players that can play football,
Are they a
bro.
genuine threat for that?
You know
top
what it
4
is? The
spot? 'Cause
Premier-
we know
Yeah.
the top. We've always said it as well. The top 4 never becomes the 4 best teams. There's like 2 or 3 exceptional sides, and then there's the one team that's just the best of the scratch.
We're in for a really good top 4 race though, because Newcastle are the most informed team in the league at the moment. Chelsea will
Villa
be
haven't hit
there.
stride yet,
No,
really.
honestly, we're in for a really good top 4 race. But I honestly think this Premier League season is now we're looking at the perfect encapsulation of how the ceiling of elite players has fell so low, and the floor of what used to be the average Premier League player has risen so high. The difference between the two of them has never been smaller, in my opinion. And it's allowed teams like Forest, like Newcastle, Newcastle, to be fair, they have top players, but Forest, Fulham, Bournemouth, they can now compete at those top positions. And you look at the teams who are considered big clubs, United, Spurs, Chelsea, the last few seasons, there's not too much of a difference when you actually look at squad quality compared to both these teams.
That's absolutely true. And I think, listen, Forest fans, the atmosphere was brilliant in the City ground. I think, why shouldn't they believe?
Yeah.
Why shouldn't they have a season where we've had?
I think they can make it 1,000%.
We've had teams in the
I like that no one's
teams
really
that have been
speaking about
upsets
them as
before,
well.
and they're just going. Listen, they're going about their business,
Yeah.
and their players. And I think Fuad mentioned is so true. I don't think a lot of other clubs and their teams, their players on that pitch pay that fans for every single penny they do when they get into that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're saying, are they
with their
real?
desire, with their hard work, and their ability.
Before this game, they had as many points at this. I think even still it might be, but I know before the Liverpool game, definitely they had the same amount of points at this stage of the season as Leicester did in 15-16. Now I'm not saying they're going to go on to win the league, but that
not believe?
I feel by middle of January, I feel like by
believe?
middle of January, your position in the league is not a lie. The league table doesn't lie at this point. If you are good enough to be in the top 4 by January, more often than not, the table by Christmas is usually what it ends up like. Obviously, it's a very competitive league in that area of the table. But I think they can do it 1,000%. And you know what I love about Forest as well too? There's so many like redemption arcs in that team. Whether it's Elanga, who wasn't good enough for Man United, now he's fighting for Champions League. Callum Hudson-Odoi. Morgan Gibbs-White was laughed at when he left Wolves to go to Nottingham Forest.
Dare I say,
Nuno Espirito Santo.
They're a band.
They might actually be the band. They might actually be the band of misfits, bro. They might actually be the band of misfits.
Listen, the brand lives on, baby.
The manager is one that was at Spurs. He was sacked quick, and now look at him, bro.
Even Elliot Anderson, he's not one that was kicked out,
sure.
but they had to get rid of him for PSR, and he was the one that took the fall. And now look at him, he's
Ola Aina has been all around Europe.
Ola Aina was at Torino,
1,000%.
Chelsea didn't want
There's
him.
a lot of good. There's a lot of good feel good
And what I
stories
love
in that
about
team.
their team is, obviously, you guys see it on social media, Ola Aina Snapchats. It's
I
amazing, bro.
love
It's
it.
so
He's
fun.
after the game where he's like, we could have won.
We could have won.
But we also conceded their shots.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo,
We'll take 4 points.
I like that.
We'll
I like
take
it.
that
We took 4
More
points
players
from
who show
Liverpool
their
this season.
personality
Yeah,
and
man.
character rather than just being these
I love it.
monotonous robots.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's beautiful to see.
It's amazing, yeah.
On the Liverpool side, a little bit cause for concern. Two
They've
league
hit their
draws
blip.
now.
They've hit a little
Carabao Cup first leg loss, FA Cup.
I don't know if I didn't see that second half against Nottingham Forest with those adjustments. Just gives me the feeling that I had early on in the season when obviously they were faultless. That slot can work his way through this season. This squad, the way it's constructed, I thought they had a bit of a creativity problem in the last couple of games. They didn't have an issue creating in that last game there. So we'd have to wait and see. Based obviously their fixtures are they're not going to be as easy as they've been. They've been all right. Good bit this first part. This is what I'm saying basically.
Yeah.
And in the second half, I think they have the tools to be able to match what they've done in this first part.
For me, it's a bump in the road for sure. I don't think it's like a real problem, but I also think it's a team that largely, when you look at the goals that they've scored, so many of them are contributed by one man, and that's Mohamed Salah. And the last 3 games, he hasn't been at it. And people can say, well, he's still having shots on target, and he could have scored a few goals against Forest. He scored against United. He could have set up a few chances against them. It's Salah. He's always going to leave the game with chances created and goals. He's the ultimate production guy. But the reality is, when he's not on it, Liverpool are a much less dangerous team. They are a team much less likely to score. And that's going to have to be something that changes, because Salah has been in unbelievable form the first 6 months, but he's also only human. Like, the players that can do what he's done for 12 months straight, we're talking like Messi.
There's best of all time.
There's obviously going to be a drop-off in terms of the rate that he's scoring and assisting. So I'm looking at the rest of those guys.
Yeah.
It's time to really stand up and hold yourself
Gakpo,
accountable for it. Yeah,
Jota,
1,000%.
Diaz,
Nunez,
boys.
I mean, yeah, come on.
Even
like,
some goals from midfield. Can we get some goals from midfield?
yeah,
McAllister,
100%.
Jones, Soboslai, wake up, boys.
Well, listen, Liverpool remain at the top, 4 points clear. Still got a game in hand. Let me read out a couple of stats from the game. No side have gained more points from losing position than Liverpool in the Premier League this season. 14 points. Diego Jota's goal 22 seconds after coming off the bench is Liverpool's fastest sub-goal scored on record in a Premier League match. And Diego Jota is one of 3 players that have scored 10-plus goals with his right foot, his left foot, and his header. Can you name me the other 2?
Haaland.
Well, stop looking at the screen, bro.
No,
The
glare.
You 2 answer the third one.
No, I knew it because I saw it on social media. I can't even see this shit, bro.
Right foot, left foot, and header.
Yeah. I'll give you one.
Haaland is one.
In one season.
Just
Give me the stat again, sorry.
Since September 2020.
Oh,
10-plus goals with their right foot, their left foot, and headed.
2020.
Haaland is one. Jota is one.
Chris Wood.
Nope.
Kane?
Nope. But you're in the right mold of striker.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at, the lesser players.
I think last season.
Think strikers.
Watkins?
Yes.
There you go.
Think strikers who are good with their head. There aren't too many these days, man. Honestly.
And Chris Wood has now scored against every side he has played 2 or more games against in the Premier League. Up to no good, man. And Liverpool have gone unbeaten in their opening 10 away games of a Premier League campaign for the 3rd time. in the last 7 seasons. Fair
Woods
play.
two goals away from Carlos Tevez, 3 away from Torres, 3 away from Saha.
Yeah, he played a lot longer than these
Come
guys
on,
as
man.
well, too, man. Chris Wood. I'm looking it up right now because I'm almost positive.
248 appearances in the Premier League.
Bro,
How
he's been
crazy
around
that
for
is.
so long. Ilyas, I'm about to look it up right now because I'm positive. Because I used to have the Panini sticker book for each World Cup. I'm positive in 2010 he played for New Zealand. I'm about to look it up, but this is how long this guy's.
Yeah, he did.
2010, bro. You know that's 15 years ago.
He's got
This is
248.
This is what they call an Indian summer. You know,
Yeah,
late
yeah,
in your
yeah,
career.
yeah,
that
Bro, he started
rejuvenation.
playing football in 2000. He made his professional debut in 2006.
Yeah, bro. Bro, he's got
Real
200
men
Aye,
still alive.
But he's only 33.
Dog.
He just turned 33.
Lias, he's got
He's
240.
got 7 more years of this shit if he wants, bro.
248 Premier League
You
appearances.
say
How many
another
players
man
have
are old
that?
at that
Bro,
age.
and he's 33. He's
They
not even
call
that
Chris
old.
Wood
Like,
young
yeah,
at that
exactly.
age. Interesting.
That's crazy, bro.
Interesting. Anyway, we move
Yeah,
on.
he was at the 2010 World Cup. He was 18 years old. bro.
It was the
2010 World Cup. He was 18 years old.
It was
bro.
the 4 Burnley seasons that put him on. The 4 Burnley seasons in the Premier
yeah,
League.
he hit
He's
double figures in all of
digits
them.
in all
Yeah.
4, yeah.
And
In all
then
4
he
seasons.
had
And then
that
now he's had
alibi
3
spell.
seasons now.
Yeah,
Newcastle, he
at
looked
Burnley, he's up
washed
to
and
no
done.
good. He's actually
And
up to
then
no
he came
good at Burnley.
Forest.
Because I think Newcastle signed him for decent money as well. I remember. Yeah.
He was
off
meant
the
to be.
bench.
I remember him, Matt Target.
Yeah.
It was meant to be like an English core.
No, they just signed
Dan
Wood though
Burn.
to relegate Burnley. That's what they did.
Yeah,
Remember?
that was
They just
January.
signed him to
In
relegate
January,
Burnley.
yeah.
It's
They
like we're
signed
gonna
him in
eliminate our
January.
competition.
Because that's when
Yeah,
they got
yeah.
the money. That's when the Arab money
That
came in.
is so
They signed him in
true.
Jan, I remember.
Yeah, that's crazy. But let's move on anyway. Chelsea at home at the Stamford Bridge, 2-2 versus Bournemouth. Anthony
Chelsea.
Iraola.
Come on, the Chelsea.
Chelsea. Hey, at the Chelsea.
Forever be my favorite Chelsea club of all time.
He's so lucky United are crap, man. Honestly, he's so lucky, bro.
What was the bet again? What's the bet again?
Yeah, it was
Liban's
Basil
dying.
dies
Yeah,
green,
it was a forfeit,
Liban
yeah,
goes
yeah.
bold.
Other way
Or was it
around.
the other way around? Yeah.
Yeah.
Liban goes green.
Talk to
Okay.
me about the game though, lads. Chelsea 2, Stamford Bridge. Reece James dagger at the last minute with a free kick, pulling something back. But
Story of
Cole
their season so far, Fuad,
Yeah.
in terms of I've never been comfortable watching Chelsea this season when they're 1-0 up.
Yeah.
Never been comfortable. Whenever it's just 1-0, it's like I'm almost certain the opposition's come back into this game.
Yeah.
The difference between that first and second half is night and day. And we're going to see that with a couple of these games. We've spoken about the Liverpool Forest game already, where it's a game of 2 halves. The cliche came true in this game as well. Well, Chelsea, I think that might be some of the best football I've seen Chelsea play this season in that first half.
They were incredible.
It was ridiculously good football.
Yeah.
Jackson with that first, with the one he's bodying up Zabanya and Hoyson, which is centre-back partnership, we've obviously been raving about, and quite rightly so. They've been brilliant.
They were getting bullied.
They were getting moved to by that 2-man step of Jackson and Palmer.
Yeah.
My problem with the 2-man step is that when Jackson is passing, it might work.
Yeah.
When he's on the end of the other side, it might not work. And that's the problem.
I hate those kind of games Jackson has, man. When he does everything right, he's
'Cause
such
you can see his
he's
talent.
a box crasher. He can beat his
Ball
man.
carrying.
He's ball carrying.
He's a top
His
footballer.
passing, everything. But then sometimes he just has those games where he just can't finish, and he's had a lot of those. He's had a lot.
He has too many games.
Too
like
many
that.
of
Yeah,
them. Too
man.
many of them.
Palmer at the back post.
Should have finished that. 2
That
chances.
should have been a gimme.
2 bites at the cherry. But then if you flip it, the run past 3 guys
And then
in
hit
the
the-
middle
and then hit the
and then hit
post.
the post. Like that's just unlucky.
Yeah.
But
That's just unlucky.
what other striker, other than Isak, obviously, right now, not a lot of strikers provide that kind of
Yeah.
value on a football pitch for Chelsea Football Club. I'm sorry. I understand he's not
Is
getting
that-
the goals,
is that-
and that is what matters.
Is that frustrating as a player? When
Oh
he's-
my God,
when
I
he's
can't
almost-
believe it.
You can tell by his body
good
language.
at everything.
Yeah.
But the
Your
prime
job that
job-
we need you
But
for.
I see it when he misses certain chances. Body language is just like, oh, not another one.
Yeah.
Like, that should have gone in. Like, how's it not gone in?
And it almost feels like this season, well, the first kind of third of it, he was dispelling those rumors. He wasn't
Yeah.
missing as many big chances. He was linking up play, scoring goals. And now in the past 8 games, I think he's got 1 goal.
Yeah, he's been bad.
And the thing
He's
is,
been
he has chance. It's not like he's starved of service. Like
Yeah.
he's a 1 in 5 in terms of chance,
Yeah. He
goal
gets them
converted
chances.
and chances. But you know what it is, right? They in the January, right? They need to go buy a backup or something like that. Like I'm not saying Jackson should be dropped. They need to go find a new center forward.
A competition.
Different
But yeah,
dynamic.
1,000%.
not
Even
competition.
Nkunku's not a striker.
Chelsea have always. Nkunku's on his way out. They're talking about going to Bayern.
And if
but
they
Chelsea,
get money for him,
Chelsea
wow.
have always been a club that they have a Drogba, they have a Costa, but they always have a Giroud, they always have a Loic Remy, they always have a Nicolas Anelka, Crespo.
Yeah.
You need someone, and most big clubs are like that. You have somebody that can ease the burden. If Jackson's not firing, go bring on a guy off the bench that can maybe play last 15 minutes. On the odd game, he can start. Chelsea have always had that. Expecting Nico Jackson at this point in his career to be every game he's scoring is just unrealistic.
No,
but
facts.
you know what it is, right? I completely agree with what you're saying. I was watching this YouTuber, Nini. He's a Chelsea fan. Big up to him. But he made a point that whenever he watches Chelsea, the first 60 minutes of the game, they're exhilarating. And it's because they play with such intensity. They're a young team. They're energetic. They basically kill teams. But after 60 minutes, they burn out. Because they're just playing so fast, so hungry, so hard. Yeah, but after 60 minutes, if you're, like you're kind of saying, if you're a team that are still in the game, you can hit them. Bournemouth have done it.
Yep.
Teams have done it all
Fulham
season long.
has done it to them.
Teams have done it all season.
Is that playing style really that detrimental if you're playing one game a week? Because if I'm not mistaken, Chelsea are pretty much playing two different sides in the Conference League and in the league. So therefore, this 11 should be...
I get that, but if in 60 minutes you're giving everything you got...
But then the second part of that is Maresca then being figured out a little bit in the past couple of weeks, where
for me,
it's the same type of teams they're coming up against, where it's like, and they're struggling to almost kill them off, or they're letting them back into the game.
I think, look, Maresca definitely has to take some blame, and I think his substitutions as well too, because if your team is so heavy metal in the first 60 minutes, the changes that you make to your team have to be spot on to kind of maintain at least a similar level of intent. But I'm sorry, at the Chelsea attackers. And I've seen so much, I really want to talk about this, right? Because I've seen so much shit being given at Cole Palmer this year in terms of, is he really the real deal? Is he a stat patter? I'm sorry, I feel like Cole Palmer, he's not a perfect player. I get that. He's still young. But he should be the last person anybody talks about when we talk about Cole Palmer. He should genuinely never be criticized, but his name shouldn't be muttered. Because I'm looking at some of the numbers from these forwards, right? And I took notes of this. Yeah. Jadon Sancho, 2 goals, 4 assists. Now, every time Jadon Sancho does something good for Chelsea, Man United fans get battered on the timeline. But I'm sorry. I'm not sick of it because I like Jadon Sancho. And when he went to Chelsea, I said, I'm a fan of talent. I want to go see him thrive at Chelsea. I'll be very happy if he does. But United fans get hit with so much stick when he does something well. When he doesn't do anything, no one peeps a word. And the reality is, at Man United, he was being judged as a £72 million superstar from Dortmund. At Chelsea, he gets judged as a Man United flop. The standards are much lower. 2 goals, 4 assists is okay. Let's be real. That's an okay season. And I'm not even about production. For me, it's about performances. He's been okay for Chelsea. Neto. Now, I was a big fan of Pedro Neto at Wolves. Fast, direct. He got a good whip on him. Good dude.
Good dude.
Do you know
Messi?
I like Pedro Neto. I got love for Pedro Neto. £60 million.
Remember when guys were getting onto Madueke?
No, I'm gonna get onto him. Don't you worry. Pedro Neto for £60 million, 1 goal, 2 assists isn't good enough.
No way.
That's not good enough.
Agreed.
Madueke has 5 goals. 3 of them came in 1 game. He's scored in 3 games this season. He has scored in 3 separate games. Nkunku has 2 goals. João Felix has 1. And people have the nerve to even look at Cole Palmer. He is carrying this team for the last 12 months. It is baffling to me how anybody can look at Cole Palmer after any of these games when Chelsea... Look at the players I'm talking about. Sancho cost 25. Neto cost 60. How much did Madueke cost? How much did Nkunku cost? How much did Felix cost? And anyone has the nerve to talk about Cole Palmer. The guy's a number 10. He's the best finisher at the club. I'm sorry. It's baffling to me.
That's why Jamie Carragher said what he said. That's why he said
Palmer got 14
goals, 6 assists. He has almost as many goals contributions on his own as all of those guys combined.
Imagine.
That's embarrassing.
Imagine he's being mentioned. But listen, for me, I think you mentioned a really good point about Enzo Maresca's substitutions because in that last game, he had to utilize them. And he didn't. I think he took off Lavia.
I think that's their gripe. A lot of Chelsea fans gripe against him, where he brings on subs 80th minute, 70th minute, and also little things that annoy me are you've got Caicedo, who's been your best midfielder this season. You're pushing him out to right back, even though Gusto's not playing that well.
Gave away the penalty.
I think in those games you've got to play your best midfielder in his best position. You've got to play Gusto at right back, and
you
also
say that as if the performance wasn't brilliant, though.
From Caicedo, no, it was a good performance. Good performance, but he also conceded the penalty.
He did.
He concedes because he's not. He's a centre mid playing at right back. Do you get what I mean? Those are the he gets caught on the wrong side. The attacker's smart, puts his body in front of the ball. He's always going to foul him. And Caicedo gets up, looks at the ref, and he's like, "I know it's a penalty." I'm asking for that myself. But like little things like that annoy me. Even the banishing Chilwell. Like Chilwell's good enough to play. I do get why he's banished him. I don't like it. But games like this is where you need players like Chilwell to play.
I don't think you need Chilwell.
Like Harry Maguire.
Nah, they don't miss Chilwell.
Give him a chance to.
No, I'm not saying they miss Chilwell.
I understand what you're saying. Chilwell's not the example, but the reality of Chelsea right now.
Maybe someone like
that
Chalobah.
is no that is embarrassing. Don't even get me started. That's disgraceful. The whole Chalobah situation is disgraceful.
But they give João Felix his number.
His number.
Forget about that. Forget about that.
On the plane
They banished him from first team training. You're not allowed to come. You're stripped. And now when they need him, they go and bring him back.
And then Maresca comes out and says, "I'm really happy with this."
But if Chalobah now says, "I don't want to go train to the first team," they can find him.
That's Chalobah's back at.
They recalled him after banishing him from first team training.
Imagine.
Yeah.
And Chelsea fans will say, "Well, why do you care? Well, wait, he's not that good. Well, why'd you recall him then? Honestly, leave him at Crystal Palace."
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
and the fact is, if he wants to say, "I don't want to train to the first team," they can find him.
I hope
they can banish him from first team.
I hope when he
A
makes
kid
his
from the
first
academy.
appearance, the fans love him. Like they give him the love that he deserves.
The fans will love him, but it's the club that have
Because they
treated him.
use
It's the club that have treated him
happy with him,
awfully.
bro.
But
The fans
the
happy with
biggest
him.
problem with Chelsea right now, it's I hear what you're saying about Chilwell. I don't agree with the player because I think he's washed.
Yeah.
But there's no experience in this team, and this is what happens when you sign a bunch of players that are all 21, 22 years old. They're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
They're going to be inconsistent. I see now Chelsea want to go sign Tell from Bayern, who I don't think has scored all season. He's a nice prospect.
Yeah.
But where's the established players in this team? You're banking on a lot of potential, and there's talent at Chelsea, no doubt about it. They have a good squad. But it's no surprise to me when I see them making as many mistakes as they do, when I see them being inconsistent, when I see Jackson not scoring every single game. They're all around 21, 22, 23 years old,
Having
bro.
said that, that's why we need to understand why I need to understand why the narrative is so split at Chelsea Football Club. I'm not here to tell the people who are obviously proper diehard Chelsea fans have seen the success of Chelsea how to support their club. But the reality of the matter is, it's nothing like it was in the past. From an ownership standpoint, from a squad standpoint, from a managerial standpoint, it is not the same as you're mentioning about establishment in all of those phases anymore.
But it's a shaky way of not ownership. It's shaky squad building, honestly, because you're like we've seen this from Dortmund in the past, bro, when they build squads completely made out of young players. Brighton, that's their model as well too. But they always fall apart.
Yeah.
That's why for me, seeing Chelsea
to move on.
It's extreme. The last 5 games, they haven't won the last 5. But seeing Chelsea kind of collapse the way they are, it shouldn't be that big of a shock, man.
No,
I'll be real.
and I think that perspective needs to be aired for the Chelsea fan base to understand that this is a young squad. So I think you should judge them as they are a young squad. And like we say, in the big portions of these games, they are performing better than their opposition. Yes, they should be scoring more goals. Yes, it is unforgivable. And you look at obviously what the narrative was earlier in the season about the title race, and then you look at these fixtures. Should they be getting more points out of them? Absolutely, they should. And you look at those games further, you absolutely should be getting more games out of this, more points out of this.
Is this not why maybe Maresca was over the past couple of weeks saying, look, as much as you want to put us in a title race, we're not actually in it. Maybe he could foresee this kind of issues potentially coming up.
But then it's also on him as well, though.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I even mentioned him
you.
at the start. But let me just read out a couple stats from this game. Cole Palmer is the first Chelsea player to be directly involved in 20-plus goals in back-to-back Premier League campaigns since Eden Hazard in his first 3 seasons at the club.
You see the stats, bro.
Enzo Fernandez for Chelsea in the first half had the most touches, most passes in the final third, most duels won, most possession won, most fouls won, and most chances created. He's really turned it around as well over the past couple of weeks. Enzo Fernandez.
Oh yeah, he's had a good month.
He burns out the 2 years.
Hey man,
He's
remember
he's
one of those.
60 minutes.
Hey man, remember I said, leave a loving home. Leave that loving home and see if your life will change.
Every time he's on SDS, it's always when I'm on it with him too. It's like he's trying to tell me. And I'm always sat next to him when he says it too, and I'm like,
look at people like Michael Jordan. Look at all these kind of greats. They leave them.
Bournemouth forward Justin Kluivert has scored more goals from penalty spots, 6 in the Premier League this season than in any other team in a competition.
Yeah, so he scored 7 goals in the Premier League, 6 of them are penalties.
Bro, nasty work.
Oh, Kluivert scored. He's got a hat-trick of penalties, no?
Yeah,
in one game.
He did.
Nicholas Jackson has 7 shots against Bournemouth, most in the match and most joint in a Premier League
Score some,
game.
please, Nix.
Last Chelsea player to have more attempts without scoring in the competition was Diego Costa, shooting 9 times versus Crystal Palace in 2017. Damn.
Yeah, he was excited that game.
Next game, Brentford 2, Manchester
Shout out
City
Semenyo quickly.
2
Sorry, let's move on.
at the G-Tech.
No round of applause. No round of applause.
oh,
sorry.
Can we do a round of applause for Liverpool?
Who are we giving a round of
come
applause
on.
to?
Hold on.
Come on, hey, Vice Captain, wake up!
No. The round of applause went to Arne Slot for the substitutions.
I ain't giving that round of applause.
Yeah.
A round of applause to Arne Slot.
Get a load of this,
And then for Chelsea versus Bournemouth, round of applause.
Give it to Palmer.
For dropping the keeper on that.
Yeah, I think Cole Palmer. No, round of applause for Reece James at the end of that free kick, right? Someone finally took a set piece off Cole Palmer and they buried it. And Reece James, I love the mentality. Like, he's been unlucky with injuries, man.
Yeah.
Like, I feel for him. I really thought he did a good job inverting into midfield. I thought he was excellent at that role. Yeah. And the free kick, man, that's a moment of class right there. Rescued the point.
Fair.
So, Reece James. RJ.
Next up, Manchester City versus Brentford at the G-Tech Stadium.
Come to the G-Tech. Yeah.
Someone got G-checked at the G-Tech. I like
That happens a lot. Brentford's home form this year. I think
Best in the league.
I think the best home form.
Still might be the best.
Is it in Europe?
I think it might be one of the best
I
in
won't
Europe.
go that far.
I think they've only lost to Arsenal at home.
I'm telling you,
probably
their home
lost
form has
Arsenal.
been incredible this season. But Man City, of course, scoring 2 goals as well. Foden back on the score sheet. What did you lot make of the game?
It felt like
Wissa pulling it back.
It felt like City of old, and then it turned to City of new. You know what I mean? Like it was, De Bruyne was having fun. Foden was enjoying himself.
Savinho.
De Bruyne the
playing
past
good
couple of
football.
weeks.
Yeah, Savinho was getting into great positions, but his decision making wasn't the best. Defensively, they were solid, and then that last 20 minutes hit, that last 15 minutes hit, they conceded 1 goal, and they just went into that shell that they've been in the last few months where they concede a goal.
They're so fragile. At the
Yeah,
moment,
they're so
honestly.
fragile now. It looks like as soon as they concede a goal, they're just like, okay, cool, what do? We can't
just
play at the back. Let's just give the ball back to them.
City
and try
used to be
defend.
like the ultimate mentality monsters in this league the
Yeah,
last few years,
like it's
and now
crazy.
honestly, one bit of adversity, and you
Yeah.
honestly get the feeling, it's all going to shit now.
Yeah,
but
like-
even before the adversity even kicked in, I just felt like they were just in second gear.
What,
I just-
that game,
off
Brentford?
the ball, I mean.
Yeah,
On
yeah.
the ball, De Bruyne had his paintbrush out. Foden
Yeah.
was doing his thing whenever he plays against Brentford, he wants to get goals. Savio looked like
he
he
scored
was just,
7 in a row against Brentford.
Savio was just kicking the ball from halfway line, just running and getting shots on target. He was active, but off the ball, it was so lethargic,
Yeah.
so un-City-like. And one thing that we've known about City from years gone by, their press is intense.
Yeah.
They're not letting anyone breathe in the league, no matter who the opposition is.
Yeah.
So on the ball, I do agree with how they look like City of old. Off the ball, this is so
it's
un-City.
really
Like
bad,
City
man.
like this season, but it's in the
really,
grander
really
scheme of things,
bad.
so un-City-like.
Is that up to Pep then to figure that out? Because it seems like this system, he hasn't tried to deviate from it. I know we
I don't think you can
spoken
figure
a
it out.
couple of weeks back,
Yeah.
but we said, yo, look, okay, maybe if you're not going to sign a raft of players, and to be fair, they're looking like they make some early movements in January, but you've got to tweak the system. You've got to try something new. You've got to, we said when Klopp had his injuries, we kept telling him, drop the line. When Andrew's got his injuries now, we're telling him, hey.
None of these
adapt
managers
a
do
little
though,
bit.
huh?
Yeah, but look, they've gotten
these
so
managers
far with
do.
what they've done. They're ego, stubborn. They can't go back. Like, look, they played Nunes at right back. How many times have you seen him play at fullback this season?
Yeah.
Played at left back against, I think it was Liverpool, and he had a bad game. Oh no,
he
United.
played United,
when he
Ahmad,
made the
yeah.
2 mistakes.
Yeah.
Like it's terrible right now. And they had Rico Lewis on the bench. On top of that, you've got Kovacic who's not been performing great. You've got Gvardiol, we were saying before that we started the pod, he doesn't engage anymore. You've got Ake and Akanji who are
Really poor for that first.
like Ake and Akanji who are in and out of injury. You've got Ortega who's taken a number 1 spot, and for the champions to have their number 2 playing as their number 1, and then he's the reason, not the reason why they conceded second goal.
he's part of it,
He didn't have a strong
Flimsy
enough
hands,
arm,
yeah,
flimsy
flimsy
arm,
hands,
and then
yeah.
you see Pep at the end speaking to him and really digging into him and saying it's all good, it's all good. Do you know what I mean?
I wasn't sure if he was shouting at him or praising
No, I think Pep was doing that normal thing he does. Like he done it with
Sometimes
Kimmich. Remember he done it with
sometimes
Kimmich.
we're not sure.
Yeah.
And he's hugging him at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
That's how Pep does
Yeah.
it.
but I love you.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's
on
just
code,
psychology,
on
man.
code.
Psychology
Yeah.
is really getting into his
What
head.
do you lot make of the... Could the new signings, though, potentially improve that? Of course,
That is a big thing.
youngster
But they've
coming in
signed
from
defenders.
RC Lons, yeah.
Signing Marmoush,
No,
I think
Marmoush
as
as
well.
well.
Marmoush,
of course,
I
coming
think
in.
Marmoush will get straight into the team.
I don't know where he fits though.
Marmoush, I think he's more. Yeah,
'Cause I
it's a
like
weird one.
Savinho off the
'Cause
left-hand
he's
side.
like a
I think he's
9.5.
sick. I think
a
he's
nice
sick. I
9.5.
wanted him at United because I
Yeah.
think in those 2 positions
Yeah.
behind the striker,
Yeah,
I
it
think he
makes
really
sense
thrives.
for him.
I think he's a top player. I'm not really sure where he fits in that City
I think-
team.
Could he not? I mean, the wings have pretty much been Doku and Savinho.
Is he a winger like that?
I don't think he's
For me,
signing
he's
a
more
winger.
like
He's
He's
you know
more
what I think's
central
happening
and
now?
actually
Yeah.
a second striker.
I think
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
I think Pep might be starting to change his system for next season. So I
Yeah.
think he's getting in these signings from now.
Preparing it from now.
Do you know what I mean? Because Kuzmanov, you can see he can play right back and centre back, which he loves. He loves the centre back that can play.
Yeah.
full
Yeah, he
back.
loves that dynamic.
And I think he's gonna.
Vita Rice is the same, I think, on the
Yeah,
left side.
I think he's starting to deviate away now from the inverted fullbacks. He dropped Rico Lewis, and also Kyle Walker's leaving. You've got Marmoush who could play just behind the striker, and I think he can play as the number 9.
Yeah.
I think he's more deviant. He's more moving away from that 4-2-3-1 that he loves to play.
Pep phase 3.
Potentially, man. How many phases have we had in the Premier League with him, and he's done crazy stuff with it.
Yeah.
No
He
striker.
reinvents the wheel like no one
everything.
else. I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing it because I think Marmoush is a really good player, but I don't really see a
Where he'll
position
fit.
just like
Yeah,
screaming
yeah,
out
yeah,
for him
yeah,
at the
yeah.
moment.
The way I'm looking at him is I'm thinking
More depth as well.
he's the Julian Alvarez replacement.
But Alvarez
that they never
was
did.
depth, bro. Like Alvarez, okay, he played a lot that one season because there were a lot of injuries, but when everyone was fit, Alvarez didn't start.
But I mean,
Yeah.
as good as Marmoush is, coming from Frankfurt, I don't know if he can walk in and straight away.
Yeah, he won't.
I think that's what that's what they
and I
need him
think-
to do. Though.
That's
If I'm being
what I'm
honest,
saying,
I need a new signing to come
but
in.
that
Yeah.
will be up to him to kind of show
Yeah.
that.
I don't
if
even,
that
no,
makes
you know
sense.
what? I don't even think they do need that. Honestly, I don't think goals and that's not.
I think something to wake him up, bro.
I think
wake up, sure, but
physically and
midfield, that
defensive
midfield,
frail,
midfield,
yeah.
honestly, is
Yeah.
the
They
is
haven't
the
actually
biggest.
But also,
identified
the last season we've been complaining about Pep losing their depth. Maybe he's just getting
For
the depth
sure,
back.
for sure.
Because
For
he's
sure.
realized
Yeah.
all these injuries, I can't do nothing without
yeah,
these
it's-
injuries.
it's
So
true.
now I think he's just saying, let me get 2 new defenders because Kyle Walker's out the door. Stones can't keep fit. Then now you've got, he's needed a backup attacker. He's getting his backup attacker.
no, that's a good
And I
point.
think in the summer now, obviously they wanted Zubimendi. They didn't know Rodri was going to go down.
Yeah.
It does look like Zubimendi's going to go to Arsenal. Does he go now? Yeah, and I feel like if Man City go knocking, he'll go Man City. It's a weird one with Zubimendi. I feel like in the summer they're going to get some midfield reinforcements.
I mentioned before in the game about with Forest, and I said we'll talk about Newcastle, but Brentford's another team as well. Physicality levels are at a high standard. So when City are coming with this lackluster, lethargic approach, they are going to be
smell the
punished
blood.
for it. Foden even mentioned after the game, I don't know if you guys saw the interview afterwards, he mentioned, he cited a lack of physicality playing against Brentford with the City team. If you don't have physicality in this league, brother, there's no chance for you to be getting results. It's
And
not
that's
you-
what we said,
it-
especially when you come up against the sides of
Like Brentford, bro.
like Newcastle, like who was it we spoke
Forest,
about?
Forest.
Yeah, bro, they will punch you in your mouth and take your points, bro.
Especially at home.
literally.
Especially at home.
Especially, and I want to give Brentford some credit as well. I feel like obviously you had another balling game
Well done.
there as
Yeah.
well.
Well done, man.
But I want to speak about Wissa, who is
about
now
Jan Wissa.
Brentford's all-time scorer
Yeah,
in
the Premier
Premier
League
League
Skip
history.
past Ivan Toney, yeah.
37 goals he's now scored,
Overtook
surpassing
Ivan.
Ivan Toney.
Yeah.
Got the equal. Never got the equaliser. Got the
I
first
love
goal.
those finishes, man. Waited for the
finish as
keeper
well.
to drop. Waited.
He's been linked with Arsenal, funnily enough, over the past couple of
I would
days.
like him at Arsenal. I would like
Someone
him at
you'd
Arsenal.
maybe consider?
Yeah, Rinaldi, we do really need him at the club. We do need another bold head there.
I mean, they were saying you at one point. They were linking you at one point.
I would
but
love to go
those
to
have
Arsenal.
died.
I'd
You
love to
and
go to
Rinaldi
Arsenal.
go
Me
there,
as
okay.
Ilias and me as Mbuemo, I would love to go to Arsenal.
Yeah.
But no, with Wissa, I feel like he would be a temporary fix for Arsenal if he was to come. It would be more from now to summer and then be a squad rotational player. But
I
he'd
like
be a good
Wissa,
signing.
but he's not what I think.
He's not what we need, no,
Arsenal
no.
need better than that.
Yeah, yeah.
Vissa's
Very
great
good,
player.
very good,
I
yeah.
think like, they're a team aspiring to win big trophies.
Yeah.
And with all due respect, I think they should be aiming higher.
If you go to Brentford, you're going for Mbuemo and Mbuemo only.
I think
There's
so.
no one else.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I think the first half of this game, the Brentford City game, was a bit nothing.
Yeah.
Kind of went past.
When it was 2-0,
nothing.
I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be a 4-0 game. Because the
Yeah.
way City
Yeah.
were playing, it was
Yeah.
like you said, De Bruyne had his paintbrush out, he was
Yeah.
enjoying himself.
He was just finding everything.
Nunez was all right at fullback, and then all of a sudden, last 10
Thomas
minutes.
Frank, when he speaks to this team at halftime, they wake up and they're alive and they brought that high level of
Yeah.
intensity on and off the ball.
I still
There
think
you
De
go.
Bruyne is their best player when he's fit.
Agreed.
Oh, yeah,
agreed,
yeah.
agreed.
That pass.
I think
he's got
reminded
one more
everyone over
season.
the past couple of
Yeah.
weeks.
I think he's
I
got-
think he's gonna leave in the summer.
David-
I think
he'll leave
I
in
think
the
he'll leave in the
Yeah, yeah.
summer.
You know what Pep does.
Yeah.
You
No,
know
but
what
I
Pep
think
does.
even him, I think he's looking for something new.
And I think he doesn't want to ruin his legacy because he's seen this year. What is it? The last 2
Yeah.
months he's barely played. When he's come off the bench, it's because I'm forced
He's
to come
not
off the
trying to be a
bench.
squad player.
Yeah, and he knows I can't finish the Premier
Where
Premier
does
League
he
career.
go next, maybe?
I think Saudi.
MLS, Saudi.
Yeah,
for
I
me,
think
De
Saudi's
Bruyne
nice.
doesn't-
I think Saudi is the move. Maybe everybody's looking at it, but
Yeah.
I genuinely think he's looking MLS.
I think so too.
I
Yeah,
think
go
he's
build a
like-
brand out there in LA or something
yeah.
like
He's
that.
at the
Yeah,
American
Either
market.
that-
Let me go
yeah.
tap into that.
Either that, or I would say not one last dance, but if he goes to Italy, I think he'll do amazing.
De Bruyne could go. De Bruyne
If
could
he-
go
if
anywhere.
he dropped
I
deeper,
would-
you know he can go anywhere. But I
Oh.
feel like the pace of the game in Italy would suit him
Get
perfectly.
Mkhitaryan out that interside.
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, nah, he'd be quality. Yeah.
Give him
Bro,
to Inter.
that pass that he plays for Foden, bro. He needs
Yeah.
to trademark that.
Oh,
honestly.
yeah,
You
no,
know,
that's
when-
right.
They need
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get him in the Premier League Hall of Fame,
Yeah.
and then the pass on its own. Like,
Yeah,
they need to
yeah,
trade, bro.
yeah.
It's vintage, man. That's
it's
you
cash
see that
money.
pass?
I like that.
That's the De
I
Bruyne
like
pass.
that.
You know,
bro.
you know that TikTok of those black kids that do the Arsenal won a corner, so they just start walking back to the halfway line.
yeah, yeah.
It's like De Bruyne. Once he gets onto that right half
move
space,
on.
just go back
They're
to the
gonna do
halfway
that
line.
skip.
Forget
They're
about
gonna-
They have to do that
you
skip.
gotta
Come on,
say it.
guys, man.
Forget
They have to do
about
that
it.
I'll
skip.
say this quickly before we move on. And we mentioned it off camera. I think you're saying based on how good this guy's been. Damsgaard for Brentford is so
Yeah.
key, bro.
Just seen
Solid.
you get goosebumps, bro.
So key. And he,
Norgard scored the equaliser, didn't he?
Norgard scored the goal.
Norgard scored the equaliser. Whoa. He's foaming out the mouth.
Yo,
God damn.
sorry.
You're back on the pod.
I had a crazy flashback there for a second.
What kind of flashback did you have there? What the hell?
brother?
It's a mad flash.
Norgard, last minute winners. Hey,
But
traumatic
Yeah,
experience.
them late night
That's all I'm
flashbacks
saying.
right there.
Damsgaard been brilliant. Obviously, he was signed in 2022.
Oh, no,
a
it's a
5-year
crazy
deal.
price.
And they're thinking, obviously, someone that it's been a while since we've actually seen him.
Yeah,
because he was hooping at the Euros.
He
bro.
was. He
yeah.
did really well at the Euros. Came in and now has brought his form into this season. I think he's been brilliant. His ball carrying, his creative ability that he finds, like the pass that he did over the top before the whistle goal. He basically created that goal. So Damsgaard, I think, has been brilliant. Had a hand in both goals.
Fair play to him. City, that point leaves them 6th place, 3 points off Champions League now.
They got tough fixtures as well, too, by the way, City. They got very tough fixtures.
Very tough fixtures. Funny quote from Pep at the end of the game. He said, at 2-0, we had to close it out, but we don't have a specific player to defend a result in the box. We have to do it with the ball and control the final third.
Let me ask you this, Ilyas. As a huge advocate for single men, does Pep's divorce as of late, is that a potential surge in form for City?
Divorces are different.
Why?
Because it feels mutual. When it's a one-man army leaving,
You have to leave.
when you make the decision to leave,
You have to break everyone's heart.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a sick man.
When Enzo said to his wife,
Yeah,
Enzo said to his wife, "I'm leaving for the betterment of myself to perform better." I like
selfish
that.
reasons.
But when it's a mutual departure,
it's not the same.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
He's having sleepless nights, man. I've been there. I've been there, having sleepless nights. Every woman he's gonna speak to after this is gonna be, it's not her. It's not her. He's gonna have sleepless nights, man.
What's the Smithers meme in the club?
Yeah, crying in the club,
I
man.
was gonna say, is this? Are you talking about Pep still? Are you still talking about
Hey. We're talking about football right now. I'm not talking about myself. I'm not talking about myself.
Let's
oddly specific?
Let's move on anyway.
Then again, we got
from
Pep
Man
telling
City.
these kids that he needs to stop going for signatures as well. You
Yeah,
see the
that
kids
video was
that
hilarious.
guys, you're young. You can't be doing this, guys.
He said, you can't use that. You said, go back.
No, he said, prepare better.
What do you guys want to do with your life?
You
What
can't
do
be
you want to do in
doing
the
this,
future?
guys. Guys, you're young. You're not old.
Did you not see how much merchandise they had in their hand?
I think they're resellers.
They are 100% reset. Bro, man had one shirt in a tambourine.
Yeah.
I said, hold on, what's that on here? I said,
What's
bro,
hilarious
you
is-
got custom pieces like this.
Yeah.
I said, nah, you man.
I know
the
Pep
game
was at
changed.
like the cinema watching like Lion King.
Yeah.
And then he
And he
just
come
walks
home.
out and he sees 15 kids waiting.
And he's thinking about
Someone
divorce as well.
snitched.
He's
Yeah,
thinking
he's
about
thinking about
divorce.
divorce, yeah.
Do you know what else is? He's telling them like, guys, you have to. Do you want to do this?
And
for
he's
the rest
signing
of
at the
the
same time.
No, sign this. No,
I used to be a chef, you know. I used to be a chef.
Prepare better then. Prepare better, guys.
No,
it's hilarious.
Pep as a character might be
He's
one of the
fantastic.
funniest
Well,
things. man.
Fantastic.
But let's move on anyway from Man City and Pep Guardiola.
Round of applause.
Come on, Liz. You know,
give it to
do
the
last captain today, you know.
Wake up.
Yeah, man.
Told you, I need a
Almost
raise.
went past him there.
Yeah.
Round of applause to Wissa. I think I said Vissa as if he's like Russian or something. Johan Wissa for becoming Brentford's all-time top Premier League goal scorer. I said at the time they have not missed Ivan Toney in the slightest. It's like he was never there.
And if I'm not mistaken, Mbemba was on like 2 behind as well.
Yeah.
Like,
They were all like
they were
even.
both
It's
It's
chipping.
gonna be one of them ones where like every week they break the record.
Yeah.
between
Next time
them.
when Mbemba scores a hat trick, yeah.
There you go.
Top
They're
scorer.
both going to compete for a round of applause on SDS
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. That's what they're doing.
Moving on anyway. Well, let's go up to the northeast, shall we? Let's go to Geordie land. Newcastle 3, Wolverhampton 0. Newcastle putting themselves firmly in the driving seat of the Champions League. 4th place, 38 points now. Alexander Isak.
Let's just get it out the way.
8th.
So I don't forget. Alexander Isak.
I feel like it's weird clapping yourself, but go on.
Nah, they ain't it, yo.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
Alexander Isak.
He's uncool.
Maybe he's
Don't let me
uncool.
trim the beard, bro. Don't let me trim the beard. I'll start coming to Newcastle.
You need to trim.
You know what I mean? Don't play with me, Isak.
Man said trim the beard. You need to
Better
trim.
follow back, bro.
You need to trim 10 years off your age if you want to be Isak, bro. But trim the beard, bro.
See, if it's me, I'm getting slapped. See, I don't like it.
No, you can I'll bang you in your face, blood.
I'm not Faisal. Don't try that shit again, huh? I'll slap you back, bro.
Yeah, trust me. You don't want to do that.
This guy thinks that I'm not Faisal, bro. I'm not your age mate. Hey, don't try that one.
But speaking about that
That
top
woke me
four,
up, man.
speaking about that top four, there's only 3 points between
for a
4th
33-year-old.
and 7th. There's only 3 points between 4th and 7th. At Villa City are 3 points behind Newcastle, and Chelsea are 1 point behind them. It's very tight.
Crazy.
Very tight.
I think that race is going to go down right to the end. But
Yeah.
You know, Newcastle, when we hired
now
Emery,
5 wins in a row.
when we hired Emery, bro, they were 3 points ahead of us. They're now 15.
Crazy how Eddie Howe
They're
has
now
turned this
15.
season around, honestly. You look at the last couple of
Oh my
teams he's beaten
God.
as well. He's beaten United 2-0, Spurs 2-1, Arsenal away
Chill.
2-0. Battered FA Cup.
That's just in the cup. Cups
That's
too.
that's the cups as well. Yeah,
I think there's six in a row in all comps. Well, yesterday
Nine
they made
or-
it six.
nine win-
Yesterday they made 6 in a row in the league, 9 in all comps.
Yeah. Isak is 3 goals away from equaling Vardy's record of
11 in a row.
11
Does he do it?
consecutive. I think he will.
Who's their next games? We need to see what their next games are. Because the form that
They've got
Isaac's in,
Bournemouth at home.
it reminds me of Vardy's form.
Southampton away, and Fulham at home.
It reminds me of Vardy's form that time because he was literally every game it was a goal. He was just happy to play.
Broke Ruud's record against us.
Even we'll talk about the third goal later on, but that third goal, he tried to sweat it when he should have gone for goal. And then you said it.
Yeah.
Gordon saying so unselfish. And it's true. So unselfish.
It's Henri-esque, to be fair, man. Henri always loved the pass appreciation.
I remember that game where I think it was Jeffers, where he just kept trying to give him this.
Henri has said post-career, he says, I preferred assisting than scoring.
He was a winger. He was a winger, innit?
Yeah, listen, Newcastle, I think other than they had a tough October, November where the results weren't going their way. But even if you look at those games, some of them were still unlucky as well. But it is almost scary how the full integration of Sandro Tonali to this team
For sure.
has changed the fortunes of Newcastle Football Club.
Missed him hugely
it is
last year.
scary. Like, he had some games when they were still not getting the results, but he wasn't fully into it. He's coming in and still getting his minutes in. Him freeing up Bruno Guimaraes to play in the 8 now, play higher up the pitch. Bro, it's just been a recipe for success for Newcastle right now because that midfield balance is now sorted. That attacking line can transition. They can break down a low block. Newcastle have so many different weapons. Their fullbacks are still weapons as well. Lewis Hall and Livramento. Such a complete team right now that I feel as though this form, there's no reason why it shouldn't continue.
Where does Tonali sit amongst, like, I don't feel
The
like
sixes.
he's putting those,
He's in that conversation for him.
He's in the conversation in the
Obviously,
Premier League,
last year he was pretty much out with the suspension, but I feel like this season he's
And
reminding
even
everyone just how good he is.
I feel like it's even a bit different than when him and Bruno G started playing together at the beginning. There wasn't so much of that tandem of movement.
Yeah.
Now I feel like Bruno G's like,
I think
Sandro's
before
there.
they were switching. That's right. It was Bruno was coming deeper
Exactly.
and he was going further
Now
forward.
it's Sandro's there.
Yeah.
And Tonali might affect the game in the final third sometimes, but these guys have such adaptability in that midfield three, such different balance of
It's the
profiles.
most athletic
It's
midfield
brilliant.
three in the league, bro.
They can all do them each other's roles.
Joe Wellington, Sandro Tonali, and Bruno Guimaraes. You don't want to book that midfield three, bro.
No.
They will run you off the pitch.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a scary
do
free.
both sides of the game.
Bruno
literally,
Guimaraes, the
Football
pass
around you,
to Isaac.
and
That was
then
beautiful.
physically.
That was
Man,
beautiful.
That
pass.
assist.
Oh my
pass.
goodness.
He
Beautiful.
physically moved Andre out the way to make that pass.
He's elite.
Fair
Bruno
play.
Guimaraes is
Beautiful pass.
elite, man. Honestly.
Beautiful pass.
But now,
what's your thoughts on Bruno G?
where do you guys rank the tandem?
No,
of-
one second, I got to ask him.
What's that?
Bruno G, you've never been a fan? You changed your mind on that?
I'm still on the same. I'm still
he's
on the same.
incredible.
I'm still the same. I
What
said,
are you not a fan of?
No, it wasn't. I wasn't a
not a
fan of him.
specialist, I think
I
you're
said he
saying.
wasn't a specialist in what Arsenal needed. I didn't think Arsenal needed him when we was
Oh,
linked
when
to
he
him.
was linked with you guys.
Yeah, because when he was at Newcastle
Yeah,
and we were linked with him, I was like, he's not a specialist at what he does. He's good at all phases of the game, but what Arsenal needed was one player that does something extremely well rather than having someone that can play 6'8" and go further higher up the pitch.
There are players who can.
He's
be
an
those
all-action
jack of
midfielder.
all trades,
He's an all-action
but I
midfielder.
feel like he's
like
one
he'd-
of those
I
jack
feel
of
like
all
he'd be
trades.
That's also
brilliant.
Declan Rice.
He's
Declan Rice
like
also
an
an
8 out of
all-action
10 at
midfielder.
everything, though.
Yeah. But I remember at the time we signed Declan Rice more to play the 6, even though I wasn't a fan of him playing the 6. Now he's gone
If
higher
you
up
could take
the
that
pitch.
100 million back and put it on Bruno G, you wouldn't.
No, I would have.
Oh, would
I
you?
would have. Yeah, I
Fair
would have.
enough.
I would have. I think the role that Declan Rice is playing now, Bruno G is better suited to it because he was an all-action midfielder. He was
And
an
now
all-action
if you think about
midfielder.
Zubi coming, yeah.
Yeah, he was all-action midfielder. But hindsight's... Yeah, man, he's got a Declan Rice obsession. And I know when he bucks Declan Rice in person, he'll be like, let's take a pic, bro. He'll be like that.
Because I think he's probably a really good bloke. I don't have an issue with him. And he played well today. You guys you're fueling this agenda more than me, you know. You need to chill out.
I think you're feeling it
I know,
yourself.
you fueled it. Saying, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Don't try to deflect on his seat right
Because I
there.
thought he'd
You're
say
the pilot,
no.
you're the jet guy, you're everything.
He's
fuel
pleasantly
everything, man.
surprised.
I'm surprised.
He's pleasantly
No,
surprised.
sorry, shocked, not surprised.
Yeah, you're pleasantly shocked. You're shocked with a smile on your face.
I think it says Isaac has also become the 7th player to score 25 plus goals at St James's Park. Of those players, Andy Cole 23 games.
Andy Cole's not talked
Shearer
about
in
much.
26 games got to 25 goals.
Bad man.
Only fewer than Isaac, who's done it in 34
He's in all these
games.
records, you know.
Where do you lot
All
rank
these records.
him and Gordon as a pairing? I almost
We
feel
had
like
this conversation a few weeks ago about best duos in the league, best 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
And I think we were talking about Odegaard and Saka at that point. And you mentioned. These days you don't have Mohamed or Salah.
It reminded me of Son and Kane.
Isaac's got 46 goals and 71 appearances in the league.
Yeah, like they actually remind me of Son and Kane in terms
Yeah.
of one
tandem,
is like a good winger that can go either way.
Yeah.
Isaac is kind of a complete forward that can.
Was that the
do
best
it
two-man
all.
step in the league?
Well, statistically speaking,
Yeah.
And we mentioned this as well off camera. This is last season as well. This isn't just
Yeah.
because it's happening
Oh,
this year.
100%.
Anthony Gordon, I think, scored against every single top 6 team
Yeah,
last
he
year.
was a top 6 killer last
He's got
season.
10 GA, 4 goals, 6
The best
assists.
left winger in the league.
And 6 goals, 4 assists, and Isaac has 15 goals, 5 assists.
I think he's number one.
30
I don't know.
in
He's
total.
definitely up there.
I'm trying to think.
You got to think about the wingers first, yeah.
Yeah, but left wing is in a.
It's not
huge
yeah,
position
man,
right now.
yeah,
It's
man,
not
man.
left wing.
Even in the world.
Wing and striker combo
Yeah.
in the league now.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think of men's
Yeah.
better than
And
them.
listen,
Yeah.
I said this
And
last
when
time.
Whistle's
as well.
good.
Murphy's doing his thing too.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
Talk to
Yo.
me. Talk
Murphy,
to
I'm
me.
not-
we
fan,
need
but-
to talk about Barnes now, though.
That's Mr. Barnes out over there.
I remember certain man on this
don't think we
pod.
really have to.
I remember certain man wanted to crown man, and I said, wait, Jacob Murphy, the past 18 months has snatched that chain. And the way he has been cooking, 7 assists, 3 goals this year. Last year as well, he was cooking. And it was on low heat. Nobody really noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was like
But
a steak.
Harvey Barnes, even when he's fit, can't get in this side. Mr. Bouzidi, talk to me.
It's like
Where has Barnes now though gone?
Let me tell you this. It's like he's in the Cristiano Ronaldo 23-24 phase of his career right now. So he's still Barnes now though. He's just Man United's second season.
That's shameless. That is shameless.
He can't get on the pitch, man.
Shameless.
Disgusting and
That's
filthy.
what he said.
He's not putting ahead of Gordon.
He's take us to the court of
He's just 2023, but he's 2023 Ronaldo. That's what he is right now, bro. 2 years ago he was 2016 Ronaldo. Now he's 2023
He
Ronaldo.
can't sniff that left wing position and that
Gordon's
right
a
wing
top
position
player,
right
man.
now. He's not getting.
But you know
in there.
what? It's a team game, you know.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
his
yeah.
contributions are.
It wasn't a team game. We called him now, though.
This is what they call
He's
it
Naldo
now.
from Wolfsburg now, man.
Centre back 6'6".
Little receding hairline Brazilian.
Hey, chill.
They didn't need to do that. They didn't need to do that.
Two guys on the table receding.
Is he wrong? You got the craziest.
Is he wrong?
You didn't need to.
No, he's not. I agree with him. He's not
That
wrong.
was a crazy.
Listen, chill with the receipt now.
We're both going down.
You're a real jihadist, you know. You're a real jihad, brother.
Yo, the hairline tilt on this table is crazy.
Yo.
Yeah, we're carrying this shit.
Yeah, you guys are carrying.
You guys are there.
But nah, listen, fair play to Newcastle.
Like,
They're looking like they're securing that top 4. Similar.
I love
like
that
Forest
fullback
earlier
pairing,
as
by
well.
the way. Huh? Livermento and
Livermento
all. I
Hall?
think we're talking
Yeah.
about best. I think that's the best fullback
That's a
pairing.
good
in the league.
pairing.
You think so?
Who's better?
I mean, it's hard to argue
Arsenal
at
have a
this
good
point,
one when we're
actually.
fit.
I think these two are better.
They're
Yeah,
probably.
I think they're
best.
incredible. They go both ways.
It's
Yeah.
crazy how Trippier this time last year was the
guy.
machine, their system, basically.
Even Hall, if you remember, he couldn't get into the team for a
Yeah,
while, bro.
And
no,
then
but remember
now-
there was that whole they didn't want to pay the release clause because of PSR, so they
Yeah.
were trying to play. They were trying to
Few
get under the
minutes to
game,
get
few
out of
minutes,
there,
but
which
then they
is
ended up having
crazy,
to
yeah,
play him
'cause he's-
'cause
yeah.
I think Trippier
Dan
got
Burn or
injured or
something
Dan
like that,
Burn got
yeah.
injured, yeah. So they had to trigger it regardless.
And that's Chelsea's fullbacks right there.
It's
Like,
crazy,
they
it's
produced
crazy.
them.
Chelsea
Newcastle
are like,
bought
they're
them.
like Madrid with the fullbacks now.
Yeah, no, it's true. Hakimi,
Yeah,
remember a few
Theo
years ago?
Hernandez and
Yeah,
Hakimi.
it's true.
Here's a stat for you from this game. Only 4 players have scored 8 or more in Only 4 players have scored in 8 consecutive Premier League games. Obviously,
looking.
Isaac being one of them. Can you name me the other 3?
Vardy,
James Vardy.
James Vardy, of
Van
course.
Nistelrooy, of
Van
course.
Nistelrooy, of course.
Rooney?
You lot get this last one, I'll be very impressed.
Is it Rooney?
It's not Rooney.
Solskjaer.
It's not Solskjaer.
Ooh. Is it a retired player?
Yes, it is a retired player.
Okay.
Yes.
How retired are we talking?
Recently retired.
Oh.
Yeah.
Aguero.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
Daniel
Reece?
Sturridge.
Oh, Sturridge.
You would have never got that
First
one.
games of 2013-14. Remember how crazy he was,
Yeah.
bro, when
Sturridge,
Suarez
yeah.
was out.
Shout out
yeah,
Sturridge,
yes.
Yeah, he
Ah.
scored he
Yeah.
started the season like a house on fire.
Sturridge.
Crazy. But let's move on to the final game.
I gave it already. Yeah, don't try it, huh?
Yeah.
He's awake this time. He's
Last
awake this
captain.
time. Don't worry.
Just
We got
prepare,
into a minute.
just prepare your lineup for today, tweet. Honestly, stay over there, bro.
Hey, tell him stick to the ones and
Yeah,
twos.
save the ones and twos, man.
Hey, let's move on to the final game anyway. West Ham 3, Fulham 2. Graham Potter's first game back in London. After getting chased out of West, he is now back in the East. Talk to me. What did you like make of this game?
Hey, good first result for him, man. And I don't want to say like, oh, we immediately saw Graham Potter ball, right?
No.
But some of the goals, I can't lie, they're well-worked moves that are reminiscent of his Brighton days, right? And West Ham have a very talented squad. Honestly, they've massively underperformed because we can all talk about the window. Well, we maybe over-exaggerated it, but they still signed some quality players in there.
The
You
second
still-
goal in particular, yeah.
Yeah, you still have good players in that squad. So I think Graham Potter, look, in football, you're only as good as you were basically yesterday. People have very short-term memories. But let's not forget that at one point, this guy was the most sought-after manager in England. What he was doing for Brighton had him on the wish list of every fan of a big team. I'd love to see Graham Potter at my club. I still think there's a good manager in there. I still think there's a good tactician in there. And I think this was a good first example of give him time at West Ham, continue investing. They have money they can spend.
Yeah.
I think he could do big things for West
Does
Ham.
he seem like a good fit for that job.
I feel like
in
that's his
terms of
perfect level. Like that,
100%.
yeah.
Chelsea may have been a jump too soon or too
Yeah.
big, but West Ham
Should have done
a
something in
club
between
that's
Brighton and Chelsea.
outside of
Even more than
trying to
that,
get
though,
in.
this should have been the candidate they got
Straight
after Moyes, because I hate the revisionism right now around Moyes. Oh, you should never have fired him. This is what you wanted. But going from Moyes, looking for a better style of play, I don't think that's a problem. Going from Moyes to find that style of play in Lopetegui is a massive issue. But if you really wanted to fire Moyes in the aspiration of finding a new identity, going from Moyes to Graham Potter is this is it. This is what you should have done in the first place.
Absolutely.
So
And
you
I
got
was-
there 6 months too late, but you're there eventually.
Yeah. And I was on the podcast when David Moyes, there was a lot of obviously division in the West Ham fan base about David Moyes. 'Cause He bought them the European title, and a lot of them were holding on to that. But there was again a huge section of that fan base that said, we hear it, but we need to move on. Like, this is a big club with good players. Can we move on and get a manager that can actually utilize these big players in a good way? Lopetegui was a miss.
Yeah, massive miss.
That's a bad,
Terrible manager.
That's a bad.
He
bad
stayed
manager to
far
bring
too.
in.
He overstayed his
No, he
welcome.
did overstay.
Yeah.
He did overstay. And he got,
Every week
and he
I
got-
saw him on the touchline. I was like, how's he still here?
He's
Yeah,
got
but he
9
got
lives.
sour
Yeah,
towards the end.
yeah.
He got really bad towards the end, and the club should have done a better job of managing that situation, because after a while it's just bad on Julian Lopetegui.
Yeah.
You feel sorry for him after a while. I was like, what am I still doing here? But yeah, harsh.
To be fair, he
Harsh.
pleaded with the fan base apparently before the Leicester game. Give me more time. Give me more. Like he was
Yeah, off he
pleading.
goes. Yeah, there you go. But he needs to go if he said that. If he said that,
He was
yeah, yeah.
begging, bro.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
I need to get this grab pack though now. I remember when De Gea was at Man United, and I was really, really against how much of an old-fashioned keeper was in the modern game. There's still space for that kind of goalkeeper in the league. Don't get me wrong. For people who are shot stoppers, what the hell is Bert Lerner doing trying to play out the back?
Let me ask you, what the hell is Andreas Pereira, your former club graduate, doing?
Yeah,
here?
passing
Horrible,
across the box
horrible,
like that.
horrible. He's
And
calling him
the
tic-tac
technique-
legend. What the hell is he doing
Yeah,
here?
the
He's
technique-
a Ronaldo.
Pre-season Pirlo.
The
Yeah,
technique of that
pre-season,
pass was the
pre-season.
worst. I hate those kind of
But
techniques.
even
The
The
way
way he has
across
fallen
box.
off
Let me
this season, by the way.
That was
Yeah.
poor from Pereira.
We
But then
spoke about
Smith Rowe
yeah,
has-
we spoke about it, I think,
last
in the-
week I think it was.
We spoke about in the most underperforming players
Yeah.
in the
Bert
league.
Leno, hit Raul Jimenez, please.
Yeah.
Just hit Raul Jimenez, bro. Find Iwobi, please. This all kind of stuff.
Yeah,
here, that's
yeah,
not
yeah.
for you. You're a shot stopper,
Yeah.
and there is space for you. Like he was a really good signing for Fulham at the time, because he was.
He's been very good this year.
He has been very good. He's been very
Very
good. Do what you're good at.
Yeah, I hear
Do what you're
Put the
very
saves
good
in
at.
the bag,
Please
bro.
Put the
Put the saves in the
bag.
bag. Yeah. Put
the saves in the
Put
bag,
the
bro.
reflexes in the bag. man.
But you listen it.
I literally said
Fry's bag now. This guy's sick.
Fry's bag now.
That's sick. But those two goals that Fulham scored were disgusting. Those are Iwobi goals. and two Anthony Robertson assists.
Let me say this right now. I'm looking at everybody on the timeline right now. This is a public message to you guys. All of you Sofa Score watchers, you exposed yourself this week.
Yep.
Honestly, because the minute I saw people tweeting, well, Anthony Robinson, another 2 assists. What the hell? You guys aren't watching the game. You guys are just saying, oh, notification, goal from Iwobi, assist from Raw. He must have whipped that shit in. You just exposed yourself. You got caught. There you go.
Yeah.
It's over.
Put your hands
it's
up like
over,
Liban.
man.
Put your hands up like
Honestly,
Liban.
you got caught. It is what it is,
I'm
man.
sure even Iwobi's walking out of that game thinking, how the hell did I get
How
two
did I
goals?
Yeah, but
two goals?
he was everything else.
They weren't even like
Yeah.
great crosses. They were
No,
just,
they
you know,
weren't.
put it
Just
in a
put it in
dangerous
dangerous
area.
area. Yeah.
Jimenez might get on the end of
Two,
this.
there was 4 mistakes that game
Yeah.
for goals in it. It was the 2 Iwobi goals and the 2
Iwobi
Fulham goals.
and the 2 Fulham goals. It was
How's there
just
4 errors leading to
game of
goals? Has that
errors.
ever happened in Premier League game? 4 errors leading to goals in a Premier League game.
Spurs game
I was going
could
to say, I'm sure
find
there's
out.
I'm sure there's
I'm sure there's a Spurs game I can
Yeah.
find somewhere there.
I think
but-
everything positive.
Not an Arsenal
for
game, though.
Fulham. Yeah.
No, Arsenal game.
I mean,
Oh,
Ban-
come on.
Ban-
Hold on.
era?
What? No, you
Yo.
probably have a few.
Socrates era?
No,
Luis era?
I'm thinking Giroud era.
Hey!
I'm thinking Vito
Don't make
Manone
us
era.
go into the
Yeah,
archives.
You're getting away with that.
Philip
Listen,
Senderos era.
life is good now. Johan Giroud.
Yeah.
We ain't forget.
Don't do
Pascal
that.
Sigan, man. Like,
Don't try that shit. Yeah, Carl Jenkinson. Yeah, don't try that shit. Yeah.
you look like me in that time.
Spurs got better Arsenal,
Come on, man.
But yeah, I think everything that was positive for having for Fulham was happening down Iwobi's left-hand side. I think he's become a really, really important player for them. I understand they lost that game, but even there was a youngster that came on late on in the game, Joshua King from Fulham, he played for all of the ranks of Fulham. Got up there.
Josh King, the striker.
Nah,
Yeah,
new
yeah,
one.
no.
New
Yeah,
one.
the ex-Man United and Fulham.
He's a Norwegian brother.
New one.
There's
Yeah.
a region.
Fez,
There's a
Fez.
region. But
It's
he
an
came
FM
on.
region right there.
He came on and almost impacted the game really late on. I think Traore had a
What
chance
position
at the
does he
back
play?
post. I think he's a midfielder. I think he was playing out wide when he came on. But what that shows is there's a really good management from Marco Silva that he's even moving the team on, integrating youngsters into the team as well. Even in a big fixture like that, in a moment like that he's trusting a youngster like that. So I understand that they've lost this game here, but they were on an 8-game undefeated streak before this game. So Fulham still deserve a lot of credit for what they've done.
Fulham.
See, Potter already implementing his style. I watched the FA Cup game against Villa, and they were playing similar football that they did yesterday against West Ham. Against Fulham, sorry.
That's a talented dressing room, man. They got some
Yeah,
quality
yeah.
players in
Yeah.
there.
Kudus, Paqueta, Soler.
Paqueta, that's quality.
They've got a lot of
players
good
there.
footballers.
What should be the aim for Potter coming in now till the end of the season? Because
The first
when I
thing-
look at the
go on.
table, I think they are
Just implement his
they're
playing style.
12th, 26th.
Yeah.
They are 4 points behind Fulham in 9th.
Yeah.
I mean, Europa Conference spots.
They're not getting relegated.
You know what their
Yeah.
objective should be? Honestly, just make West Ham fans happy, because I feel like West Ham fans are they're like the most down in the dumps fan base. I feel like they just always seem miserable, man. And I hear it. I look
Come
at
on,
the
they're in
football
East
that
London,
they play.
bro. They're in East London.
Chill.
I hear it.
Yeah, I didn't say that. Yeah, this guy,
He's on a controversial thing.
They're in East London.
He just loves controversy.
no, but I feel like they're always miserable with their team. And I hear it. The football they play isn't great, but just make their fans excited to watch
Give them
their
what they
team
deserve,
again.
bro. They've got listen. Their ownership got them a big stadium, and not giving us the football that relates
Yeah,
to
but
it.
you can't even see it at that stadium, honestly.
It's
Like,
too far away as well. That's a big.
binoculars, bro.
I mean,
I've been at that
bring
stadium.
that reminds me of
bring
Trossard's goal
Upton Park back.
Trossard's got yesterday.
Yeah, bring Upton Park back.
Oh, yeah, binoculars.
Yeah, bring up the
What
park
the
back,
first
honestly.
thing? Yeah,
Bowling
bring up.
ground,
Yeah,
man.
bring the bowling ground
yeah,
back.
yeah.
But Graham Potter, the first thing he needs to do, first thing on his agenda is stop West Ham conceding goals. They're conceding goals. They see way too much goals. It's relegation level amount of goals that they're conceding right
Yeah.
now. So stop the bleeding and implement your style of
41.
play.
Yeah.
And because if he does that, it links back to what you were saying there. They're going to be happy by seeing his style of play. Stop the bleeding, style of play.
Only
That's
the
what Graham Potter's gotta
three
do.
bottom teams in Wolves, Leicester, and Southampton have actually got more than conceded more. Speaking of conceded goals, as well, Fulham have actually conceded 7 in their last 3 league games. Form has taken a little bit of a hit as well. Is that just a natural kind of deflation of the season? Because obviously,
Nah, band of misfits.
Peaks and troughs.
Band of misfits happens. Christmas period, New Year's, everyone's
Yeah.
partying, enjoying themselves.
Band of misfits.
Yeah, go back into give it a couple more weeks, they'll be back to normal, man.
Hopefully, when Graham Potter gets his team kicking, they'll be swashbuckling.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was talking about Fulham.
And I just
talking about West Ham.
I was thinking about how to say swashbuckling.
You wanted to play
How do I-
Fuad Bingo
how do I
and-
say
I was talking
about Fulham,
swashbuckling?
yeah,
I was gonna get it. Can I do it?
Oh, listen, West Ham have won just 2 of their previous 8 league games before this game against Fulham, a run that concluded with the departure of Julian Lopetegui, but have moved 10 points clear of the bottom 3 with this win. So, I mean, Graham Potter, we'll see how you get on for the rest of the season. That is all for the Premier League roundup. Let's have
Where's
a
the
look
1%ers at, man?
FPL
1%.
Oh,
I need the 1%ers as well.
Vice captain.
Captain,
Who we give a round of
wake up,
applause
wake
for
up.
this
Round
game?
of applause to Graham Potter for his first win in charge of West Ham.
the
Big
Premier
win.
League, yeah.
Good way to get things started. I was impressed.
Let's have a look at the FTBL table. I was going to say FPL table, should
not
we say?
anymore, man.
In the SDS Ultra, we have free Pogba, top of the table.
Free him.
Avengers has dropped to number 2. Kidan, number 3. Harvey Elliott, Player of the Year, number 4. Tango FC, number 5. Idris, number 6. FC Gribas, number 7. TAA Annihilation, number 8. FCB, number 9. Ahmad, a.k.a. Black Messi, number 10. SDS Familia, we have Abs Talks Ball sitting at the top of the table, beating all allegations.
is that you?
Sitting across him, we have Ilyas Noriega in number 2.
Getting close. He's
So
getting
Ilyas,
close.
number 1. Let's go.
We got a special shout out.
Number
Special
8
shout out.
way on the
Come on.
table. I haven't
We don't
finished.
care about this
FC
table, no.
Buzidi
Why are
is
you
in
so
number
excited
8.
to say it, bro?
And then we
What's wrong
have...
with you, bro?
Yes, and guys, thank you for joining us
Thank you.
for another incredible
In the
episode of the
Don't worry.
PL Roundup.
You don't end the camera. Hasib ends it. Number 228. Shout out to Lalana Rhodes.
I hate you! I hate you!
We love you.